audio check. And Dave Snet on YouTube is working. Great. Good video too, Scared. All right, on D Live there's good video. Twitch. Let's see. Good, okay. All right, hopefully this one works. All right, guys, let's do this. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. All right, here we go. No buffering here on Twitch. All right, I rebooted the whole system, so hopefully this is going to work, and we'll just get going here in a few minutes as I dial a few things in. Thank you for your diligence, folks, in making this work. Okay. Okay, it's saying that now live on your channel, multi-streaming with Restream. Okay, 1 minute ago. So finally, the YouTube seems to be working too. Okay. All right. Let's say a prayer. Make sure that we get this dialed in. Still looking at like Twitch is not giving me any counts. We've got up to 300 on YouTube and D Live. So welcome back, everybody. And just finishing up what I was saying with this whole situation. Patience is required. Yeah, patience is required to really ride this out. And I think that the biggest thing here is that we need to remember that patience is a virtue, and that it's not always on our timeline of when we want things to be happening, right? So it's not any, this isn't the first time. Hold on a second. All right. This isn't the first time that things have not happened on the timeline that we had hoped for, right? And so so it's good to have that tested once in a while, especially when it comes to the revolution that will change the planet. If there was ever a time, I feel, this is my opinion only, but if there was ever a time in our lives that patience should be expected, required, anticipated well ahead of time, it would be the revolution that changes our planet for good into a very, very good direction, that gets rid of the bad players that have been enslaving humanity for a long time, and step our species into a much different, much better place, a much better dimension that we can interact with each other on in a really, really fantastic way that I don't even think that we have anticipated before. So let us be patient, shall we, with, look at the kind of thing that we're dealing with right now with the censorship, with the media. We are being shown how important it is to be patient and yet be diligent. Because if there's anything that fuels diligence, it's patience. Because the diligence that is ceased out of a lack of patience. Whereas those who are diligent and keep coming back and are relentless carry with them a level of patience for the outcome that is uncommon in these common days. And so I feel like, to be able to have that patience and just to make it about the journey. That's the other thing that you'll notice with people that are very diligent and very relentless, is that they're also enjoying the journey. Because if you're enjoying the journey to get to where we want to be, it not only is it a much nicer journey, a much more joyful journey, but it's also the time goes faster. So let's continue to find moments of joy in our life, shall we? As we patiently engage with others and continue to push the truth out into the light, and eventually the dam will break and truth will come flooding through the valley, and it will wash away that which it should, and it will nurture that which it must. And so welcome. So let's do this. I want to just check in with your chats here and see how we're doing. And here we go. So we've got thumbs up. Thank you, Angel, for the show, and Dave, thank you. So we're over to we're almost at 500 on YouTube, 100 on D Live, and almost nearing 400 on Twitch. So welcome back, everybody. Thanks for making this happen. Thanks for your diligence in getting to this broadcast. Please share this out. Please share this out to your friends. Let's not let this censorship, whatever you want to call it, however you want to call this happening, let us not allow that to interfere with getting the message to as many people as we possibly can, please. Awesome. Okay, so here we go. I want to let's see, pull up a few things. Yeah. Yes. Okay. We're going to do, thank you, Christy. I see your stuff. And we're going to get Todd on. We're going to go, Todd, why don't you and Cindy call in? While I want us all to jump into this while we have good connection. Thank you, Don. Choppy Dave is better than no Dave. Thank you. Billy, Dave, you're a great conductor for this Trump train. Thank you, man. Yeah, Julia, we're very worn out. No question about it, guys. I had trouble keeping my eyes open today. Todd needed a nap. It's just like, it does take a toll. It definitely takes a toll on us. So, yeah, there we go. Let's get to this. And I think we're going to have them in the system here, so they'll sound good too. Hello, Cindy.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing all right, hanging in
We
there.
can hear you now.
Yeah, I guess that was the thing to do. If you at first you don't succeed, try again. Try again, and try another time.
You got to remember, it's only the vowel letters that you use. Yeah, A, E, I, O, U.
A-E-I-O-U. Yeah, exactly. That's the buffer. That's the buffer alphabet.
Do we have 3,000 on yet?
It depends. Are you? I haven't hooked up my Dominion system. If I had my Dominion system,
how many partial shows?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
This is what you call the true snedheads that stick around after all we've been through tonight.
You're absolutely right, Cindy. I'm so glad you mentioned that. We've got 1,000 now, well over 1,100. These are the true snedheads, and probably and we even the East Coasters are making it happen. So well done, folks. Yeah. Oh, okay. Good to know. Kay says that Mercury is in retrograde.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, I'm
Explains a lot.
I'm I'm uh, I'm in retrograde like hell right now. So it's all
I am too.
yeah.
I got to tell you, we were listening to you trying to catch up with the show and everything, and I dozed off again. I was like,
Did you really?
yeah.
Yeah, they
Wow.
said, "Oh, Todd told you to say this." I'm like, "Todd's sleeping. It's Cindy." It's all good though.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like just like somebody's drugging me.
Same, buddy. It's unbelievable. So, hey, let's jump into some stuff here. Just would love your general take on what you did here of mine, and then just where we're at in general.
I thought you did fantastic, Dave. Whatever you said.
Oh,
I'm just kind of in a waiting mode. I'm waiting for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think it's going to be an event. There's going to be something, and I don't know how much more you can research into it,
Right.
other than to just let it happen. I mean, you can. I still look at stuff. I did the Scavino drops from yesterday and today. Well, they were
Yeah, looking
hours
forward to doing
old.
those with you.
Those are pretty good. And then we had, the executives that stepped down. I don't know if you talked about them.
Have not, excuse me, have not yet. But yeah, I'll pull those up. But that's huge.
And it's just a damn shame that Humpty Dumpty's going to be stepping down. I'm going to miss that guy. Zucker.
Zucker. Yep. Let me pull it up. And also, who's the other one?
Frazier from Merck.
That's right.
These are
That's
these
right.
are all three, Dave. These are like the classic. If they were bucks, and we were trophy hunting, these would be three of the biggest bucks we could get as far as Donald Trump haters.
You know what? That's a great point, buddy. I'm gonna pull these up as you talk about them.
I
That's
mean,
a
here, you have Bezos, who
uh-huh.
just, from day one, before the election even, hated the
Yep.
idea of Trump trying to be president. And then with him, with the Washington Post,
Yeah, he owns the Washington Post, and so
oh my
you know,
God, it's just hit piece after hit piece
yeah,
after hit
yeah,
piece. And so, I mean, what an awful guy. I mean, I feel sorry for his wife, or his next wife, or his wife before, and I just feel sorry for everybody around that guy.
yep. And also it's been seen that he's had some relationships with Ghislaine Maxwell.
Oh yeah.
And which means he's related in a sense to Epstein. And speaking of Epstein, this Apollo, this is Leon Black, is let me pull him up here. He's to resign after investigation reveals he paid $158 million to Jeffrey Epstein. And the story behind that, by the way, is for tax advice.
That must have been some hellacious tax advice, Dave.
Dude, what kind of tax advice do you need to spend $158 million on? You know what advice he should get? Don't spend $158 million on tax advice.
Oh
Okay?
my God.
So he paid it directly to Epstein and also his charity, and so this is funny, by the way. There was an independent review, okay, that concluded that neither Black nor Apollo employees were involved in Epstein's criminal activities.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sure that's fine then. Yeah. So, but he's stepping down, but I'm sure that there's no connection to the criminal activities. So he'll retire as CEO effective on or before July 31st, 2021. Again, he'll stay, as a part of the board, but it's still not the same as running the data. This is an opportunity to distance yourself from this $60 billion Apollo fund. Apollo Global Management. They're funding. They've got 1,600 employees, including 500 investment professionals, 15 offices globally. All right. So that's this man, Leon Black, who, if you're spending that kind of money with Epstein, you're getting more than tax advice. As a matter, I believe the person on his tax case was Rachel Chandler.
I would have been glad to give him. I would have done it for 108 million, Dave.
Exactly. What a deal! He could have saved a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got let's go to Jeff Zucker, CNN President Jeff Zucker, to step down at year's end.
I'm going to miss him.
Oh, just what a guy! What a guy!
He's the guy that you'd want to hang out with. Him and Bezos together, and then you could throw Frazier in there. I'd like to hang out in a bar with him, and just chit chat.
Yeah.
Talk politics.
Yep. And then and he's going to leave at the end of the 2021. I think it'll be sooner.
I think that if you look at a lot of these guys that are announcing they're going to leave in quicker than normal,
mm-hmm.
they can't say they're just going to ride off into the sunset immediately, because that'll raise too many red flags.
Yeah.
But you're looking at some of the biggest bucks out there for if you're a trophy buck hunting, like I said, if you wanted to get the Trump haters, there they are.
They have the biggest horns, literally and figuratively. And like Tank says, either he was spending that money on tax services, or he was blackmailed. So, blackmailed.
I know where my money is.
Yeah. So, and then you got Merck. You've got the other buck you mentioned, and that is this gentleman, Kenneth Frazier.
Yeah. And boy, did they swoon over him today on like CNBC. I watched the business part of it because now I'm seeing it with clear eyes. Yeah. They all were shedding a tear about what a wonderful guy he was, and just fantastic. You couldn't get a better guy. Just how he was a rags to riches guy. Sounded kind of like more like a Boulay type move to me, but what do I know?
Yeah, I mean, and by the way, all of Trump's critics are going down. Even though it may seem like they are, they're winning right now, right? With the, supposedly Biden in the White House and Kamala in the White House, and it's like it may seem like that, but that's when you let the opposition think they're winning, they let up a little bit, right? And so what I was talking about a lot in the beginning of the show that nobody but me and the ants in the studio heard is that
And the guy with the wire cutters outside your door.
Exactly. All right, you heard that, did you?
Yeah, I
Okay.
did hear that. I was hoping he wasn't a guy with a mask and a chainsaw, though.
Was just basically that everyone's trying to predict what's going to be happening. We've been trying to do that, and that the biggest just to lose the confidence that we have in the truth.
Right.
And because our timing is off because of the anticipation of justice being had. And so when we know that, the illusion of justice has existed in this country and on this planet, and so we've gotten, we understand that now, right? We understand that.
Absolutely. I mean, just look worldwide. Look at how many countries are falling, how many governments are falling.
Yep.
The Pope even said the same thing, that he was going to be stepping down, and then he supposedly didn't. And, all these people that are talking about stepping down and all that stuff, they're not stepping down because they're old and their companies are doing bad.
Right,
And
right.
who walks away from all the stuff that Bezos especially, I'm thinking, who steps away? He's not old.
No, and he's finally he's at the peak of his company.
Right.
It's his business has never been better. Now, if you want to, Todd, if you've made it to that point and you want to take a break, you want to take a rest or whatever, I get that. But not with all these other thousands of CEOs that have resigned or retired. Not the, look at all the people that are not coming back to Congress in their prime. You don't just end your career at this point, right?
Yeah, Paul Ryan jumped out of a plane and pulled the parachute when he was 37?
And he was at the top of his game. And so it really, when you look at all the people that are doing it, it's really amazing.
It just wouldn't happen. I mean, it's not a coincidence.
Right.
You can't convince me that, Frazier, I don't think is very old either. I mean, he looks about my age, maybe a little bit older.
He's 66.
Oh, is he? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
he's
your age. Yeah.
How I feel after this year.
I know, right? You felt like that today, old man.
Oh,
you needed
man.
your afternoon nappy, didn't you?
Yeah, I got my 8-hour nap in. I thought about researching and going to work, and then I said, well, maybe I'll just lay my head down and get a little snooze in. And I'll wake up at 4 o'clock.
I'm so jealous. I am exhausted. All right. So, Brenda says Biden is trying to bankrupt and enslave us. Something has to be done. Well, it is being done. They're showing the world that Biden is trying to bankrupt and enslave us.
Right.
That's exactly
and the
why
actor
they're doing this.
The actor who's playing Biden he's playing the best part, I think, of all of them. He had to play the comedian idiot before that got elected, and he did a great job of putting a lid on his campaign and staying out of the media. But when he did, he was a gaffe machine, and he was hilarious. I mean, he's like a comedic actor.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. By the way, Carl reminded me, speaking of a comedic actor, I think that President, Biden, I can't even say that. I can't even say it.
I don't even say it.
No, because I was going to say President Trump first, but I think that Biden is definitely kind of showing some real chops, and I think he should join the Screen Actors Guild. Todd,
Oh, there's a
he's so
spot
good.
open, isn't there?
There, yeah. Is there a spot? What's going on? Is there a spot open?
I think a certain mogul walked away from that position.
No,
They,
no.
they weren't going to re-up his card, Dave, and so he said, "I don't give a shit." I'm sure that broke his heart.
Dude, I don't know what President Trump was thinking because I got to tell you, it's a really good medical plan. I don't
What's
know.
he gonna do for a living now, Dave? I mean,
Yeah. I don't know, but folks, this is on Ghost Ezra today. Basically, they showed President Trump's letter here to the Screen Actors Guild, and there's some bits to it, and I'm going to read it to you here. It's a short one, so it's good. So the Screen Actors Guild threatened Donald Trump with removal from their membership because of the events on January 6th. Again, the narrative that's going through, right? And
where he had Antifa go and do the riot on the the so-called invited riot.
And BLM, the woman on the board who
Yeah.
actually bombed the Capitol back in the 70s. You can't write this stuff. So it is
She's a
theater.
sweetheart. She's
She's a sweetheart. So Donald Trump, I write to you today regarding the so-called disciplinary committee hearing aimed at revoking my union membership. Who cares? While I'm not familiar with your work, I'm very proud of my work on movies such as Home Alone 2, Zoolander, and Wall Street, Money Never Sleeps, and television shows including The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Saturday Night Live, and of course one of the most successful shows in television history, The Apprentice, to name just a few. I've also greatly helped the cable news television business, said to be a dying platform with not much time left until I got involved in politics, and created thousands of jobs at networks such as MSDNC and Fake News CNN, among many others. Which brings me to your blatant attempt at free media attention to distract from your dismal record as a union. Your organization has done little for its members and nothing for me, besides collecting dues and promoting dangerous un-American policies and ideas, as evident by your massive unemployment rates and lawsuits from celebrated actors who even recorded a video asking, "Why isn't the union fighting for me?" These, however, are policy failures. Your disciplinary failures are even more egregious. I no longer wish to be associated with your union. As such, this letter is to inform you of my immediate resignation from SAG-AFTRA. You have done nothing for me. Regards, President Donald J. Trump. President Todd. President Donald J. Trump.
Did you catch that, Dave? I didn't know if I was going to have to point that out to you.
I just caught it that time. Carl, thanks for dropping that in front of us at the premier time of when Todd talking about the Emmy award-winning Biden.
No, that's Como. Cuomo's
Oh my
book.
God, guys. It doesn't, President Donald J. Trump, he is the master troll of all time.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Dude, you're
Just
fired.
love it.
Barry says you're fired. That's awesome.
He fired the union.
Oh my God. Michelle says, what is the date on that? January 6th? That would have been so awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was February
this was-
4th.
Knew this was coming.
Oh my God. Oh boy.
I can't believe it took them that long, Dave.
Guys, I know, right? Are you enjoying the show? Please tell me you're enjoying the show. We're up to 2,000, close to. Oh my God. And AOC was nominated. How about, Kathy just said, how about AOC?
Oh,
She wasn't even in the Capitol.
I know. Oh my God, I feared for my life too, Dave, but I wasn't there.
And
You almost got me killed. They were beating on her door supposedly, Dave, but she wasn't even there.
Oh, hold on. So I pulled up. Let me see if I can find this. Because a couple of you sent this to me, but I have to see if I can find it. See what it looks like to actually pull it up, and that is Snopes regarding regarding. Hold on, where the heck is it? Regarding AOC. Okay, so let's go to AOC on Snopes. I've never, I may have done it a long time ago, but let's see what Snopes. I searched for AOC. Okay. Did AOC exaggerate the danger she was in during the Capitol riot? This was yesterday. AOC was targeted with another round of bad faith smears after giving an emotional firsthand account of her experiences during the Capitol riot. By Bethania Palma. Bethania Palma. Folks, look for that name when it pops up time for what do you call those awards they give to the Mockingbird media? The Pulitzers. Yeah, this will be a Pulitzer right here. So, claim. AOC exaggerated the danger she was in during the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot in that she wasn't even in the Capitol building when the rioting occurred. Rating, mostly false. What's true? Ocasio-Cortez wasn't in the main Capitol building where the House and Senate chambers are located. What's false? However, she never claimed to be in the main Capitol building when the attack on the Capitol began. She was, as she stated, in her congressional office, which is located in a network of office buildings immediately surrounding the Capitol, and her office building was one of the two buildings that were evacuated. Folks, it's like it would take you, 15 minutes to walk from her office to the Capitol building. Okay, I've done it before. You got to, from her office, you got to go down the stairs. You got to go out the door. You got to cross the street. You got to cross the lawn of the Capitol. If she took the subway, that would have taken probably 10 minutes to get there. Okay, it wasn't. So what's mostly false? That statement is absolutely true, but look at the spin that Snopes puts on it. She is an actress. Yes, Kathy, you're right. She should be nominated for an Emmy for her role in that. Let's see if we can find it. Right?
Yeah, you got to show it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Cortez. Almost killed me. Okay. Here, let me see.
Prosecutors have charged more than 70 people in last week's Capitol Hill riot.
Oh, my God.
The crimes range from trespassing to assault, and they say more serious charges and many more cases
you gotta
are
say
coming.
it like Rush.
So legislators are opening up about their own experiences. And here's what Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez had to say. Take a listen.
Take a listen.
I do not know if I can even disclose the full details of that event
That's because you weren't there.
due to security concerns.
Due to you not being there.
But I can tell you that I had a very close encounter where I thought I was going to die.
Because you were a whole block away and you were dying to be there so that you could use it politically.
Elected officials across the country are now tasked with preparing their Capitol buildings for upcoming protests.
By the way, what was that woman looking at? What a tool she is. And then she demands
How
that
to stop buffering issues
Ted
anywhere,
Cruz
anytime, instantly.
Resign.
Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, DNY, on Thursday accused Senator Ted Cruz, Republican Texas, of trying to get me killed by challenging the election results in the lead-up to the Capitol riot and demanded that he resign. The progressive lawmaker criticized Cruz after he said he agreed with her call for an investigation into why personal trading app Robinhood stopped allowing users to buy stocks including GameStop. I am happy to work with Republicans on this issue where there's common ground, but you almost had me murdered 3 weeks ago, so you can sit this one out. Happy to work with almost any other GOP that are trying to get me killed. In the meantime, if you want to help, you can resign, she told Cruz in a tweet. Cruz and Senator Josh Hawley, Armo, have faced heavy scrutiny over their efforts to contest the congressional tally of the Electoral College votes, bolstering then-President Donald Trump's false claims that the election had been stolen from him. A group of Senate Democrats last week filed an ethics complaint against the two Republican senators, calling for an investigation to determine whether they coordinated with the organizers of the pro-Trump rally that preceded the Jan.
You mean yeah, okay. So you see how absurd this is, folks. This is not going to stand, obviously. But here's the thing. You know, that voice, that bot, Todd, I would rather listen to that bot than Ocasio-Cortez's 5-year-old, absolute chicken scratch of a voice. Yeah.
Are you talking about me, Dave?
Exactly. That was a pretty good bot, actually.
I've been working on my bot.
It just doesn't get any crazier than this, brother. I mean, this is amazing what we're seeing here. What we're seeing unfold.
I know it must be wearing me out because I'm laughing so much. In fact, like last night when I posted last night on Facebook, I was laughing so hard that I just had to tell everybody. I said, you know you're watching a show, right? You know you're watching a movie, and people are still not quite getting it, And I understand because the indoctrination is thick, but I listed a few things, in the chat with them. I was like, do you really think Cuomo's an Emmy Award-winning writer? Do you think BLM should be getting nominated for a Peace Prize?
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
It's just that things are so out of whack that they can't be real. And if they are real, then I'm looking for a place to dive into, like a rabbit hole. I'm going to take my rabbits and go in my rabbit hole for a while, come out and see if things change, because it can't be real.
No way. No way that it's real. No way that they get away with it.
They've got up to almost 70,000 guards, around the prison they built now in D.C. And I've watched the Capitol. I mean, I've watched the White House quite a bit online. It just, today I didn't because I was looking at the inside of my eyelids, but other days, I was looking at it and they had a live feed up. They said live feed. Like 4 of the 5 weren't working. I had to scroll down and find one. And then the feed that I found that was a live feed of the White House. The White House didn't have snow on the lawn.
Right. Unbelievable.
And I was like, what did it do? And then at 3 in the afternoon, they had another feed up and it was snow again. And I was like, what did they do? Have a hot spell and then another blizzard? It's so weird. I mean, they're changing everything. We don't know. That live feed could be from I don't know how long ago.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's, and I went to, by the way, I want to show, speaking of the White House, let me go to this YouTube. Let me go to my library. Let me see if I can pull that up. Okay.
I think I'll go ahead and just for shits and giggles, I'll send you the pictures, and these are pictures I took off of the live feed.
So I'm going to show you guys. So today, one of the reasons I even got a late start was because I was communicating with Richard Presley, and I went from the office down to Culver Studios, where you guys are seeing these videos coming out. And I want to start with, well, let me start with this one. And that is on, I don't want to do it. Let me see. Ghost Ezra had it. Also, David Rodriguez had it. And I want to show it, but it's hard to show you guys on. So let me try something here. Let me see. Man, Ghost Ezra's dropping some stuff, man.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Hold on. Watch this. Let me see. Are you guys seeing this? Let me see. No, you're seeing something else. Let me show you. This is unbelievable what I'm about to show you guys. This is, oh my God. Okay, here. Okay. So this is Alexandria Ocasio-Smollett.
Hinges right here, and I just hear, "Where is she?" And I thought everything was over. Hinges right here, and I just hear.
I hope you guys are hearing that. We're still having the issues of trying to figure this out, but this is. Let me go to David. Right here. So let me take you to this. And coins. What are these coins? Speaking of coins, what the heck is this? Another caught red flag in blue. The Capitol riot was a frame job. Okay, now David's got a bunch of stuff here. So Marjorie Taylor Greene being removed, that's unbelievable. Because of her affiliation to 17. Tragic. All right, that's not coming up. So let me go to Richard's, and I'll be able to find it that way here. All right. Okay. All right. So let me go. All right. Now, this is a really good video. And I'm going to try to get it to you. Yeah, this is difficult to show. Let me see. Save video as. Okay. Now let me see if I can get a player here. Let me see. No, that's not gonna play for you guys. Do you guys know this Clint Davis video of the White House? And is it on YouTube somewhere? Let me see if I can find Clint Davis. Yep, it's not coming up. Do you guys have that in a YouTube format or some kind of format outside of Telegram? Because, well, let me show you what I went to today while we're waiting on that. Barbara sent it. Lucinda, thank you. Is that in... guys, if you say she sent me something, please let me know whether it's Messenger or... Here we go. This is it. Thank you, Barbara. It was on Rumble. Okay, beautiful. Thank you for that. Thanks for the heads up on that, guys. Okay, let me get to this. All right, here we go. All right, so let's watch this together.
What's going on, everyone? It's February 1st, 2021. This is Zane. I'm coming to you from the Conservative News Network. Last week I reported on the Castle Rock Studios here in Culver City, also known as Amazon Studios, and the video's gotten out now of Joe Biden at in his Oval Office at basically Castle Rock Studios. So here's the view, and then they go in, and here's Biden in front of his window like we've seen, okay? Just like we see up here in this picture. Notice where the black SUV is, okay? So let's watch that again. All right, so let's look at that upper awning, and then let's look at the aerial imagery over here. So this is Amazon Studios, and look at that ledge. The same exact ledge. So me, being a photographer, I can tell you right now where they're at. So they're standing right here, and he's looking left, to his left, at that ledge, okay? Watch as I play this video. You'll see as he turns. You see a red building. When he turns to his right, look what's right there. A bright red building. This just gets better and better, okay? And then we're gonna play again.
But it's white from that angle.
And now look where his window is. There's that black SUV. Okay? And then there's a work truck up here. And I have another shot. Alright? So if we look at the aerial imagery right here and we spin this around, that is right where that black SUV would be.
Okay, so right there, hold on a second. Right here is where I parked, okay? And I walked there, I took this shot in this direction, and I walked here and I took this shot from this direction. I'll show you that later.
That is right where that black SUV would be parked. Okay? And they've also put a gigantic tree to cover up what's going on right here. So you can't see from helicopters and everything. So this huge tree that's so big that the branches don't come down to the window like they do in Donald Trump's picture of his White House, of his Oval Office. So he has those low branches that come down like we saw at the actual street view of the Oval Office at the White House. They have this gigantic tree to block what's going on here, so you can't see these reporters like we just saw in this video all congregating here before they shuffle in to film him pretending to be the president. So let's see it again. Red building, driveway, fence, yeah, it's all there. It's exactly where he is, and that's exactly why that big tree is there.
Okay. Now, when I first saw this the other day, okay, here's what I thought.
On here, so you can't see these reporters like we just saw in this video all congregating here before they shuffle in to film him pretending to be the president. So let's see it again.
All right, so what you're about to see is a very fast pan, okay? And this is called a pan cut. So, like, I could pan right here in my studio all the way around, okay? But I could cut in the middle of that pan and then go somewhere else and shoot and pan in the same way to something else and cut it in there, but you can't tell where the cut is due to the pan. So when I first saw this, I thought, well, this could be an attempt to make it look like it's somewhere else than it is. Okay, so watch this really fast pan.
Red building, driveway, fence, yeah, it's all there. It's exactly where he is, and that's exactly why that big tree is there.
Now, what doesn't make any sense, and I'm going to try to slow this down to 0.25, okay? And now let's watch this pan, okay? Now, I was at this place. Now, see that these are like branches like he was talking about that aren't there. Also, the red building, it was more white than red. It was red on one side, but it didn't look like that you could see the red from that direction, right? So that's a tree that maybe is not in front of the White House, or in front of those windows he was talking about. So at any point, that could have been a cut.
Yeah.
Let's watch it again. Now, let me explain something. Why I'm doing this. I don't think Biden's been in the White House by a long shot. She's not in the executive offices. She's in the Blair House. We don't know where he is. We've seen the the White House dark for many nights in a row, 10 nights in a row, if not more, right? And so this is trying to show proof that he's at these studios here in Culver City, which I was just at today. All right, so let's watch this slow. So that is those are the studios there. And here comes the pan.
Red building, driveway, fence.
And it's right here. Now, let's say this was legit, right? Why would you have the president sitting there and waiting for the press? The president doesn't wait for the press, folks, to stream in and get set up, okay? These guys would come in, get set up, and then the president would come in from something else. They'd already be there. They'd already be set up. They're also streaming in like they're barging in to this office, and they're far too close to the desk as well. None of this makes sense, okay? None of it makes sense. Now, let me take you to this other video. Thank you, Barbara, for that. That was a huge help. Now let me take you to this video. And I'm going to use her video because mine hasn't been downloaded from my phone, but I'll show you some of it here in a second. And this woman is pulling up. She pulled right in here, okay? That's the big tree, okay? This is supposedly where this guy was, okay? But I'm going to show you that in a second, that that's not necessarily the case, okay?
Okay, give me a second to get out of the car. Look at the studio?
Yes.
What's going on? Are they renovating the whole lot, or?
This, that, underground.
Wow, so there's no production going on or anything?
No, not until April 1st.
Yeah, okay.
They're hoping April 1st.
I've never seen it like this.
Really?
Yeah.
And by the way, they are building, and I'll show you some of that too. They are building some stuff. They're totally renovating the studio. They're giving it a facelift. Okay, so let's continue on.
I mean, did they know the pandemic?
Let me just show you where I was. All right, so you can see this is where I was today. Okay, right where she is. Okay, there's the big tree. Okay, and right there. So I'm going to show you hers because it's on the screen.
I mean, it takes time to draw out blueprints and things like that to redo stuff, right? It doesn't
It's a $700 million project.
Wow.
Same guy who owns this, built this.
Yeah.
He also just bought Manhattan Beach Studios,
Oh.
CBS, one in London.
Is that Disney then? Is that Disney?
No, Michael Hackman.
Okay.
Michael Hackman, yeah.
Okay.
He just bought all the Sony buildings over there.
Right. Wow.
Guy's not hurting.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Old Castle Rock pictures. The White House duplicate right here.
That's right.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for that info. All right. Take it easy. Okay. You heard that there, people. What kind of timing was that? So we're going to have to Google that dude, the guy who owns the studios. I don't know who that is, but... So if he's bought the studios and he's renovating the whole thing, just looking for some lights on here, I don't see anything, then why are people...
These are offices, by the way. Those
in
are
the studio
offices.
here? Why were these lights open over here?
Now, you don't see that lip, do you?
A couple days ago.
Okay? You don't see that lip. That doesn't exist here. All right? So, first of all, there are no oval shaped offices looking out in this direction. Okay, I can tell you that. I was just there. I'll show you here. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. Now, this is the reason I'm spending time on this is because we've got to be careful of disinformation here. And we've got to also just understand that do we really need proof that Biden is not in this in the White House? Okay, here's my video there. Okay, from me today. Okay, so I'm right there, folks. So I just wanted to show you this part because I can show you hers, and it'll be a little bit more because this was literally 15 minutes from my office. Okay, and so what you're seeing here, there's nothing there that that shows the any kind of a any kind of curvature whatsoever of this an Oval Office.
This bulldozer hasn't moved since.
These aren't Castle Rock studios, okay? This isn't Castle Rock, okay? Castle Rock did a motion picture there many years ago, but these are not Castle Rock studios. These studios were originally built by a movie silent movie actor, Ince, INCE, and has been through many ownerships. But you see, there's no what we saw in that other video is not here. This is a railing of some sort up on this roof. Okay, this is not.
I haven't seen any more.
There's no Oval Office here. There's no place to walk like we just saw. Okay?
Been drive by here in the last few times I've come.
So they don't
awesome.
match at all. At all.
So,
at all with this. Okay? So
now,
this is a farce. So that whole red building, you know, the whole bit, nope. This is it doesn't fly. You know, the black SUV is not there. It's not at this place. Okay? So I can flat out tell you, you see there's nothing oval, okay? Nothing oval whatsoever. You wouldn't even be able to see out these windows if it was here. This is not an oval office, okay? This is not oval. This is a little bit oval right here, but and you could have a car parked there the whole bit, but I could show you from the other angle. I took a video through that, and I'll show you that, and that can't be the Oval Office either.
All right, we're going to get in the car. We're going to do a drive-by again around the lot.
Okay, so this isn't this isn't it. So that whole video that, you know, it's been on, oh, for crying out loud, folks, it's been on I think it's Charlie Ward, I think it's been on Santa Surfing, it's been on David Rodriguez, it's been on Ghost Ezra is a crock of shit. All right? And all I had to do was drive, you know, 15 minutes to see that. Let me see if I have this. Yeah, so I kept going with this. Let me pull this up. Let me pull the audio up. The Oval Office. Beyond there? I'm not sure. Let me see. Exactly. How do I make that bigger? Nothing looks oval there, so that's of concern, and so I don't know exactly where that would be, but let's look around here. So there's not a lot of activity here in the front, obviously, and I would need to see where the actual Oval Office is. But these trees, if there was if the shot was somewhere there, which it wouldn't have been because it had that railing. Out of the picture of the White House, but not seeing anything oval. The only thing that's curved is that right there. So you need to find where this is, where that shot would be. And is it on the other side? I'll take a look there. Okay, so I did, and then I went around the corner and I shot, you know what, I don't know if that came through, but I shot through, yeah, it didn't come through. But yeah, so folks, it's just so easy to be fooled, and it's just you gotta look at this stuff, you know, through a lens of you know, just a critical lens. That's all. And so you put something like out this. So yeah. So Cindy says, could the oval be on the inside and not on the outside of the building? Yes. Right. But here's the thing. Going back to this other video. Let me pull that up. Going back to this other video, look at this other video. They're trying to tell us that this is the Castle Rock Studios. It's not. Where is this? Well, is this the White House? Where exactly is this studio? I can tell you it's not the studio that I visited today, because the studio I visited today had the railing up there, right? And so they're trying to tell us that this is the overhead of the studio, which it is, okay? He's trying to match this with this, and it doesn't match. Does not match, okay? Because if you look, this is the outside, and then he pans, okay? And that looks like it could be, you know, the White House. Looks like it could be the White House. All right. So that's what we need to find out. So could the Oval Office be in the inside? Absolutely. And it is at some of the places, okay? But the fact of the matter is that this video is not evidence that that's the case, okay? And so if we get caught down this road, yeah, it could be another location, Jane. It doesn't have to be the White House.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dave.
Yeah.
If they knew what was going to happen years ago, this could have happened years ago.
What's that? The shot of Biden?
Yeah, they could have had this. They could have canned this. You know, they could have canned this 2 years ago.
Well, what I was going to get at, but my point about canning it 2 years ago was, where would they have canned it?
Well, that's what I mean. Hell,
Yeah.
you know, it's a secret operation. They wouldn't have to let us know, but maybe they're just
Yeah.
letting us know by saying Castle Rock that it's a set.
Yeah, I think that's what they're saying. I think that's what they're saying.
Yeah, because I
And-
mean, they wouldn't
Yeah.
tell you that it's at Castle Rock Studios. Hey, go down there and take a look.
Right,
You know?
right, exactly.
It really wouldn't make a lot of sense. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's great that you went down there. I mean, it's great that you can debunk this stuff, you know, because I can't just drive down the street and
Right,
debunk
right.
anything from the center of the armpit of the earth.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, wouldn't it make sense? I mean, the Q drops are talking about what's going to happen years in advance. Why wouldn't they film this with their actors years ago?
Well, here's the other thing that I'm thinking about. So here's what they have so far. Here's what I know. There's a replica of the Oval Office in Little Rock, Arkansas, at the Clinton Museum. There's a replica in Virginia. I want to say about a half an hour outside of D.C. Somebody said there's one in Maryland.
I
There's
heard
a replica.
Atlanta too, but I don't know. I heard there was a
Could
kind
be.
of a White House knockoff.
Could be.
Early
But I
on, I
think-
heard Atlanta, but I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, but I think that's where we look, like those other places, because here's the thing: I don't believe that Biden's in the White House.
no.
I don't. So I'm not debunking this and saying, you know, yes, he's the president, yes, he's in the White House. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying it's not here. Okay, so let's look elsewhere. Let's try to figure out elsewhere. So basically, I'm just getting rid of this as an option, right? This is not an option, and that video does not prove anything. So let's keep digging. Let's keep looking, right? Let's find out where this was shot. The other thing too, Todd, is that, you know, when let's say like let's say that, and I heard that there's one at Bronson Studios. I talked to a guy at the location, and there's one he said at Bronson Studios. So I got to check that out here in LA. But one of the things I wanted to say was that when you shoot, like if I was to go, Rich is going to call him and say, hey, you know, David Snedeker, he's a director, you know, he wants to come look at it. He's doing, and I basically made up the story. I'm going to shoot a trailer for The Last President that I'm going to take to Cannes, which is in May. So that means I would be shooting right away. I would need to know what the availability is, and I want to get into the studio and I want to shoot. And you guys can do this with any of those places, right? And so just check in with me so we don't have 10 people calling one place. But so basically, so if I got this set to shoot I would shoot Biden out in a day, Todd.
Yeah.
In 1 day or 2 days, I would have him just there with a stack of, executive orders. That's why we don't see him, I think. We don't see the executive orders, and he doesn't hold them up, because we just show him, like you said, it could have been done a month ago. It could have been done a year ago. Could have been done whenever, right? And we just show him signing, just show him and moving him over. And I could shoot in a day, 20 shots of him signing executive orders, 20 shots of him meeting with people, all these things, and you shoot it out in the same location with the same lighting, and then boom, you're out. So like literally we could go, it's not like they're tying this place up or any of these studios up in weeks at a time. They could have shot it all out in 1 day or 2 days, and then they're gone. They're long gone, and other people are shooting stuff there, so you can't go and prove, okay, this isn't the one. My only proof here that this isn't the one is because it doesn't match the outside. There's no Oval Office that you can see from the outside, and there's, from my understanding, from what I was told, there's no Oval Office set in that building. So at any rate.
Well, we know that the Capitol, the inauguration was shot at a different day at a different location at a different time. Even.
Exactly. Sunny day, right? One camera shot. Okay, now Hunter, let's move you from over here to over here. Let's move the granddaughters, all white, all pink. Let's have them here for this shot, and then let's move them out of the way. Oh, Roy Blunt, you come in here for this shot, but then we're going to move you over here for this other shot. Yep. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, you
got to be kidding me.
Okay, son. Let's move down to about the 3 o'clock location instead of the high noon location.
Yeah. Let's move to the location where John Roberts's shadow is twice as long as he is.
Yeah, and the other one that I really noticed were when they showed the people sitting in the chairs out spaced neatly apart, 6 feet apart.
Yes.
Their shadows were so long. There's no way. I mean, when they panned and showed that, I was like, they're telling us. Because, what was the first thing they used to tell time? It was a sundial. Sundial. If
Absolutely.
You turned each one of those people into a sundial, there's no way it was anywhere near noon.
Yep. And
I don't care what time of the year.
Absolutely. And this was a Hunter sundial.
It's just really. I was watching I watched the video the other day again. There's a 9-hour video of the whole thing, and so my son was interested. He said his teacher was talking about the inauguration, and somehow he's awake. Because he was calling out some things that he thought was kind of weird. Yeah. And so I think he's awake, which is really cool. And so I said, well, what did he talk about? And he said something about the Bible and something about this and that, and I said, well, did he talk about the girl in the white and the girl in the pink? And he was like, no. And I said, well, let's watch this. And so I got to it. And he was like, oh my God. But there was a part where I didn't pay attention the first few times I saw it, but when the crowd sitting in their little chairs, they're like 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was not, that day it was not sunny. I said, you know what? You can go back to somebody went back to the cameras and actually the day after and said this picture was taken out of those cameras that we're talking about using all the time. And they said you couldn't see this blue sky anywhere. It was like a big carpet of clouds. So
it was very overcast. Very overcast.
And they were all sweating bullets. No breath coming out, no when they're talking.
Mm-hmm.
It was a nice sunny day wherever it was, whenever it was nice and sunny that day. And warm.
So it's in Anaheim, California. Annie says there's a White House in And then there's a replica Oval Office in Beltsville, Maryland for Secret Service training, and that's cool. Can you guys send me pictures of those places in my davesnet@gmail, please? Pat Evans says you need the key, Mickey, as in Disney Studios, probably. There's a White House look-alike in Atlanta, Kim said, and that's what you were saying.
That's the one I heard about. And
Yeah.
it seems like it could be based on it being warm, and if it was during this time.
Yeah.
Because if they took a chance, if they shot all this before, what
Yeah.
if something unfortunately happened to the person that was...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's assuming
Yeah.
that everybody was going to be there. So it had to be
Yeah.
within, I would think, the last 6 months or something.
Yeah. And by the way, Charlie, Santa, David, Ezra, I think trying to put out some good information, no question about it. As a matter of fact, we've asked David to be on the broadcast, and he's going to come on probably next week. David Nino Rodriguez. If you guys don't follow him, he does a lot of great work. We'll tell you more about him. But I'm not saying that these people are showing this fake on purpose. They just don't have the access to drive down there, like Todd was saying, and check it out. But the reason I drove down there is because I didn't buy it to begin with, because it didn't. It felt like it was a fake to me, and so to tie it in with this particular one doesn't work. But again, it may be in Atlanta, it may be in Baltimore, but we have to look for those trees. We have to look for the layout, the whole bit. Now, if they have one in Beltsville, Maryland, that makes a lot of sense because then Biden's close to that, Kamala's close to that, and if they do it for training for Secret Service, they probably have an outside and an inside. Whereas with a studio, you don't really need to have the outside of the Oval Office because you could shoot that in in D.C., and then you can have the internal in L.A. Like when I shot my romantic comedy, we shot all the exteriors in New York, all the exterior scenes, and the interior scenes we shot back in L.A. because it was cheaper. And so that's how you do it. That's how you do Hollywood stuff. So so let's just keep digging, guys, because again, I'm not saying that he's in the White House and that I'm blowing this up. And I love that this dude tried to pull it together. I don't think he's full of disinformation either, the guy that did that. But we just got to be careful because we can lose credibility in the truth community. We're at 2,000 beautiful humans, guys. Way to make it work.
Effort, because I was going to give up myself. I was already asleep, so thanks for waking me up.
I know, right?
Hey, Cindy's actually got a pretty big thing here. I guess we've trained her well.
Awesome. Yeah, I think she's...
This is yours.
Hey, go to Twitter and go to Dan Scavino, and he posted a really nosy video, but if you look how long the video, it's 42 seconds, and pull up that Q drop. It's kind of nice, warm and fuzzy.
We'll take it all the way. It's your dive now.
Well,
let's see. This is
good. If I train her, then I won't have to do it anymore.
Is it? Wait a minute. He retweeted Terrence Williams.
This was an hour ago.
He's a little dude, Terrence.
Yeah, he's cool.
I love him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's on. We ought to get him on, dude.
That would be a great find.
I'd love to have Terrence on. Guys, if you want to reach out to Terrence, please let him know. We'd love to have him on the broadcast. Let me see. So
he's been there from the beginning,
Oh hell yeah, he's been a big supporter of President Trump, way before most.
There's a link in the show chat.
Oh, okay. Is this the deputy Clint Thomas?
No.
Okay.
Well,
Time to go to Scavino's Twitter.
maybe it was.
I am. That's where I'm at.
Dan Scavino, 1 hour ago.
Okay.
It was from Military Kind. The boy. It has a picture of the military man hugging a boy.
A little boy.
Little boy.
Oh, okay. All right. Here we go. All right. Okay. Here we go. Deputies pulled over this SUV to give the occupants something much better than a ticket. Deputy Clint Thomas is surprising his son after 4 months in Afghanistan with the Air Force. Oh, this is awesome. Takes a second for it to register what's happening. Oh. Took him a minute. I think he was scared because of the lights.
We've got a huge delay.
What happened?
Wow. That's awesome. Awesome. So, that's amazing. And I'm looking up 1021, yeah?
I'm sorry, what?
Is that a 921 timestamp or 1021?
Just a
If
second.
you're gonna do it, you got to do it all the way.
Well, are we on Eastern time? Because it's 9:21 ours, so it's.
Then it's 10:21.
It's 1021 then.
I
Okay.
just went by how many seconds it was, is what I did.
Oh, so you went to 42. All right. Well, let me go to the timestamp first. List the estimated wealth of religious organizations. Billions. Vatican Bank, 229 billion. Board of Superintendents, Supervisory Commission of Cardinals, Clown Connection, 1832 Rothschild loan to the Holy See. Okay. And then you went to 42 because of 42 seconds, right?
Right.
Okay. We serve at the pleasure of the president, DJT.
I like that one better. That kind of went right to it.
That is awesome, Cindy. Yeah.
See,
Yes.
who needs a timestamp? Just go with how long the video is.
Yeah, exactly, right? Wow. I love it. I love it.
Thanks for the reminder, Mr. Scavino.
Yeah. This is fantastic. Now, looking at, here's the thing I want to look at is we're looking at 10/20/21, right?
Right.
Was that is that 9 a.m.? Was that a.m.?
No, that was just an hour ago.
Oh, it was
So
p.m.
it'd be PM.
Okay. So it's 2022. 22:21 military time.
Yep.
All right, 22:21. 309-3795. Yes. Huh. Interesting.
So you
Yeah.
could do
It's just yes.
12:22.
Yeah, if you inverted it, you got to invert it.
So you could do 12:22.
I love it. She's doing my work now.
You could do 12:22. Yeah. And let's go there. So we go think mirror. Right on cue. Hello, Maggie. Trust Funds 3. This is Maggie Haberman of the New York Times and how she got 3 trust funds set up for her children. How do you get your talking points? How do many DC journalists yourself use and replace burner phones every week? How do you pass a new number out? Tweets are very important. Do you feel safe? Who does Haberman follow? And so what 17 is telling us is who does Haberman follow so that they can get her comms and vice versa on Twitter. Think public and private Twitter accounts. They all have them. These people are stupid. We have it all. Okay? And if you drop the 1 and go to 222, this is the Q Intel, the painter's work, startup technology, CIA, U.S. Army Special Operations Officer, painter's new job at Google, with the keyhole. So we've been down this path before. So nothing really there. Who controls the National Guard? This is 22. Can they work in coordination with the Marines? But good little reminder there. And while we're on this topic,
how about the video itself, Dave?
The video itself is fantastic, right? Certainly military. Returning
military coming home soon, maybe to hug their kids.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to be over pretty soon.
Yeah.
And kids being reunited with their parents.
And how about I love that, Cindy. Kids being reunited with their parents. And how about the military? Look what they have to protect.
Yep. Well, it's all about the kids. It always has been.
Always been.
Yeah. Look at this. Fantastic. That's awesome, Cindy. Thank you for that. While we're on Scavino, Todd, why don't we go to the to his posts and the timestamps that you were working on. We can
do
that. And also, we're going to talk about Green and how Green was let go off committees today, and some significance with that.
Yep.
As it relates to some of the drops.
News unlocks the map.
News unlocks the map.
That's why we're holding the map and we're waiting for the news. And when you see the news, you plug it in the map and the map unlocks. It's amazing.
Yep. Exactly. Okay. Before we go into this, let me see. Okay. There's a replica of the Barbara sent a couple here. There's a replica of the Oval Office in the New York Museum. What's the new museum? The New York Historical Society. Okay. So that's here. But we're not seeing the angle. There we go. There's the angle with trees, but that doesn't look like it matches. And it also looks like it's on the second floor of the Historical Society, right? And so that doesn't look like it's a match because you obviously wouldn't see a car out the window, right? So why don't we, just for starters, rule that one out. So thank you for that, Barbara. Also, CNBC has a replica. Let's check that out. Okay, this is Frank Luntz gives a tour.
Where are you?
It was very kind of Donald Trump to give me his office, and I'm very fortunate. This is real.
I remember seeing
that.
This
is a chair. This is not a photograph. This is actually my home in California. This is a 78% replica of the Oval Office. And over here, as I turn this around, this is the Lincoln bedroom. So I'm the only person who has an Oval Office that you can actually sleep in, and you don't have to be a presidential intern.
Okay, well, were you just not going to say anything? You're waiting for me to ask that. We wanted
If you got out of your chair, and I don't want you to because you have a mic, you could actually walk back there. There's depth.
Yes, I'm going to show you what it looks like.
Oh, my goodness.
And this is a genuine Resolute desk. I'm going to put it there behind me. So you can see, including the buck stops here.
Wow.
We've got the humidor from Bill Clinton. Let's see if I can get that in the shot. There you go. These are couches from Bill Clinton.
Wow.
This is the whole thing. And that is the, behind me is the painting of George Washington that was in the Richard Nixon White House. And yes, this is real. So I'm going to sit behind the desk, and I'm going to show you guys something that they've never seen before, which is, let's put it back down. This is the red phone. This is the famous phone that was used to contact the Kremlin in the 1970s and 1980s.
Wow. That's something.
Wow.
That is something, Frank.
And here's this room cost almost $1 million to build, and now I can take it off of my taxes because I can say that I used it for a CNBC shot.
That's excellent.
Who knew?
Frank, we're going to need you again and again. Yeah, again and again between now and November.
Now, one of the things I noticed about this is that you see where these I watched this when he did this. I think it was on in the lounge at my office, and I caught this. See where these couches are and these chairs right here on the left-hand side? That's where they came in through that door. All the media came in through the door and saw Biden sitting there. So in the video where all the media came in through the door, this definitely wouldn't be the case, right? And I also think that the carpeting and the wallpaper is different as well.
Were you just not going to say it?
Go ahead. And this is a genuine.
Wait a minute. Actually, the wallpaper might match.
And I don't want...
I'm going to show you what.
I think the wallpaper does match what was in President Trump and Obama's, but it hasn't matched what is in Biden's that we've seen so far. He has a different wallpaper in there. So that's awesome.
The drapes don't match the carpet.
Stop.
Get your mind off that humidor.
Come on, Dave. You got to have fun. We're supposed to be enjoying this.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
I'm enjoying it again. I'm awake now. This is great.
Yeah, dude. This is awesome. So, so thank you for that, Barb. And guys, keep those coming. We'll keep. I'll keep an eye out on the YouTube. Let's see. Here's one from. Jennifer, I think, sent me a couple, and let me pull those up real quick. And let me see here. There's YouTube. Looks like made a couple. Let me pull that up. You guys rock. We're doing this in real time.
Well, and the other thing, Dave, is they could have a place where nobody even knows about.
Oh, dude, here's one. You mean
they don't have to rent a studio. They could build the whole thing out in the forest somewhere.
Todd, do you mean like a place that nobody might know about, like I don't know, Hangzhou, China?
Yeah, that'd be a good place. Or how about North Korea?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody gets to go there. That'd be a good place for a fake studio, right?
Yeah.
Or a nice White House.
Yeah. This is the. This is it. This is interesting. Let me transition over to this one. This is from Jennifer. This is the White House replica, and it looks like there's a. Let me see, view larger map, and see if we can go 3D into this thing. How do you do 3D? Map, satellite, and then.
Well, we've seen a lot of misrepresentation before. I mean, look at Hanks on Saturday Night Live. I took a virtual tour of his house, and he didn't have a room like that in his house. So,
exactly, and
this has been going on for a while.
Yeah, and by the way, that's not a kitchen in a multi-millionaire's home. I'm sorry, but you're gonna especially his particular one. So this looks like it doesn't even have an Oval Office necessarily, but this is the Hangzhou, China one, and we will look for more pictures of that if you guys can pull that up. And then McLean, Virginia has one. Decatur, Georgia. Okay.
Yep.
Erbil, Iraq. And Claremont, Florida. And Carlsbad, California. That's all from Jennifer Shaw. Thank you, Jennifer. And let me see. What else we got here? Okay. Here's from Annette Roberts, a White House replica in Georgia. This is the only problem with this is that it doesn't have the West Wing, and where the Oval Office is, and it looks very different. So
well, and what if it went all the way back to even to where the pre-election stuff, Dave, like the Chris Matthews interview and the Savannah Guthrie interview? What if those were all played out just like to make them look like what they really are? What if none of that was real?
Which part's that?
Where Savannah was about ready to come off her chair and the evil was beaming from her eyes and he was sitting on the pentagram.
Right.
What if that was all played? And what was Chris Matthews, shutting Trump up every time and letting fake Biden talk? Mm-hmm. What if all that was fake? I mean, you have to look at this deeper. What if we watched a movie for a very long time here, folks?
Well, I mean, Q's been saying enjoy the show for this is a tactical village, by the way. I'm showing of the Secret Service training ground, and so far nothing really about that looks like a White House or an Oval Office. Just like a driving course, looks like nothing really like White House, Oval Office. It's just a basic, I think. This might be the closest thing they have to it. So that's good. So we can probably rule out the training center. Thank you, Ann, for that one.
I'm guessing you won't find it.
Yep. And here's one in Texas. And I don't think they would have done it in Texas, because if you follow that AG in Texas, he ain't too happy with Joe Biden right now. So I think he'd be on the
fake Joe.
Yeah, exactly.
He might like fake Joe. They might sit around and have beers. He might be down there with Trump and Mar-a-Lago laughing about this.
Yeah, I know, right? He'd be like, Joe, you're doing a great job.
Fantastic. Can you do another gaffe? I mean, can you do another one? Because, I mean, we haven't had a good gaffe for a while. Not being able to put the pen in your pocket was pretty funny, but let's pick it up a little bit.
How about not knowing which way he's going to go.
We need from. Oh yeah, that was great when he got lost out of the car.
Yeah. When he didn't know which way to go. Here's a Capitol replica in Cuba. That's interesting. All right, so. And this is and Pam, thank you for yours. And again, looking at this one, I think this is in Atlanta. You can see trees out there. This does look like it's on the first floor. Yeah, right? So this is the Atlanta one. Let's see what else we got here. Hold on. There is, here's the New York one. Okay, this is, not coming in from the side like that. So, yeah, we got some digging to do to figure out where that could have been. I mean, there is an entrance in the, I think, at the actual White House there. And by the way, do you think Trump would have been happy to give up the White House Oval Office for a day when he was on the golf course? Hey, listen, Mr. President, we got to shoot out Joe Biden, fake Joe. Signing some executive orders.
Yeah. Hey, remember when they were wheeling the coffin? Maybe Joe was in it.
Yeah, dude, that's it. That was it.
That's the day they shot it.
That's a coffin. That's a coffin. That's a coffin.
That lady was great.
She was amazing. Oh my God. I wonder if I could look that up with "That's a coffin."
Oh my God, that was funny.
Oh my God.
We have had a lot of laughs on this, you know?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
I wish we would have taped our conversations sometimes after the show, like when we were talking.
Oh yeah, I know.
Oh my God.
There were some
There'd be some bleeping.
yeah, definitely. What are you laughing? And what are you laughing at? You were asleep.
She was in and out of it.
I was in and out.
I know. I'm giving you a hard time.
She laughed herself to sleep.
All right. So enough of the White House, but keep digging, guys. See what we can find out on that. Awesome work tonight. Awesome work. Todd, what do you say to a little Scavino action here? And take me. Where do you want to go first here?
All right. Well, I'll go back to Dano. Yeah. I did the one that was actually I did the one when I was partially awake today at the one day ago, the Trump getting off the Air Force One. And that's a good video itself.
This was okay. All right, let me pull that up.
And normally I wouldn't even bother with the day-old thing, but since we weren't on last night, we weren't able to broadcast it.
Right. All right, here we go.
It is not the critic who counts.
By the way, guys, thanks for sharing this to me, because you know this is my favorite. This is It's Not the Critic Who Counts, right there, from my buddies Bert and John. Here we go.
It is not the critic who counts. Not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
Awesome. That video was 1 minute and 17 seconds long, Todd.
Amazing. They could have made it 116 or 118, right?
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's just coincidence.
Sure.
And that was dropped at 6:07 a.m. So I'm guessing you want me to go to 6:07.
Yep.
Not 107?
107?
This is when 107 has sex, it's Sexo7. Okay. And guys, I got a little punchy trying to get this broadcast on tonight. It was
trying to find the White House has got you discombobulated.
Exactly. I've been all over the world. All right, here we go. So, going to 6:07 first. Trump just tweeted 22-minute Delta marker. Amazing coincidence, always close after crumb drops. So they're basically saying that, after a Q drop, that Trump tweets soon thereafter. Okay. POTUS's statement and focus tweet on the UK should scare a lot of people. It signifies something very important. Very, very, very important.
Do you think they were emphasizing very important?
Yeah, and by the way, did you go to his tweet on that particular day?
No, I didn't.
Okay, we'll have to pull that up in the archives. January 25th.
It was only because you would have to pull the Delta marker.
Yeah.
We could do that. We'll have to find, hopefully it wasn't one of the days where he tweeted 37 times.
Exactly. All right, and then 117 shows these two ships side by side here. It says CH Navy BUND is the name of the photo. Why was the arrest of Alaweed and others important? And by the way, important, very important,
very
important. How is Alaweed and Barack Obama tied to HUMA, Harvard University Muslim Association? Why did Alaweed finance Barack Obama pre-political days? Because he's a Manchurian candidate. By the way, can you guys tell when it's me talking and not Q? In other words, if somebody's just listening and they're doing their dishes or something, it sounds like, why did Alaweed finance Barack Obama pre-political days? Because he's a Manchurian candidate. Oh, wow, Q just said he's a Manchurian candidate. No, that was my ad lib. Okay.
You need to change your voice.
I need to do yes, I'll go to NPR voice. Okay. What is HUMA? Define. Harvard University Muslim Association, here at 5 past the hour. Define. What book was Barack Obama caught reading? The End of American Civilization, or something like that. What was that book, dude? It was like Life After the American Empire or something like that. You guys know.
Yeah,
Will you drop that for me?
Yeah, on the airport tarmac when he was walking from the limo.
Yeah. Yes, Chris, 17. I got to say 17. Thank you. Okay. All right. Kelly says, okay, folks, here we go. The Dave and Todd Comedy Hour begins. Begins? What are you talking about? What do you think we've been doing for an hour?
What? You've been asleep? What? Wake up.
Yeah, Christina says Alaweed is dopey in the 667 drop.
Is that who it is?
Yeah, I think so. That's a good call, Christina.
You know, I was wondering, he was in my top 5 guesses.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
He looks like a dopey too.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. So, why would the President of the United States of America be reading this book? Because his Secret Service name is Renegade. What church did Barack Obama attend as pre-POTUS? It was the church in Chicago where Reverend basically lambasted the United States as Barack Obama and Oprah Winfrey sat in state and listened to him berate our country.
God damn America.
Yes, yes, exactly. And he married Barack and Big Mike. How was Alaweed an HR? Oh, okay. Who was Barack Obama's mentor? Frank Marshall, who was a communist. How was Alaweed and HRC connected? At the hip. Who was HRC's mentor? Robert Byrd, a Grand Master of the Ku Klux Klan.
No.
Yes. How was Alaweed and Bush Sr. Jr. connected? They were business partners. What occurred post 9/11? What didn't occur? Freedom.
Well, they let them fly away. Remember? The Bin Laden family flew away.
The only flights that were allowed. Who financed? Wait a minute. Hold on. What war did we enter into? Afghanistan. What was the purpose and disclosure given regarding justification? Osama bin Laden was in a cave. And nobody could find him except CNN. Who financed 9/11? Well,
we did.
We did. Why recently are classified 9/11 pages being released? Because Donald Trump is in office and he's a New Yorker. He's a proud New Yorker and he's tired of the bullshit. What just occurred in Saudi Arabia? Regime change. What FOIA docs are being publicly released recently? I don't know. Why is this relevant? What information is contained within these classified releases? Why is Christopher Wray important with regards to these releases? What does money laundering mean? Do you remember what those docs were that were being FOIA released?
Not at that time, no.
Yeah, me neither. What is the single biggest event that can generate many nation states to pay out billions?
Catastrophes.
Yeah. Who audits?
Like an earthquake in Haiti.
Yep. Who audits where the money goes?
No one.
I'm going to need you to speak in a more NLPLR voice, please.
No one. Absolutely no one knows where that money went.
That's better. What does money laundering mean? What is the single biggest event that can generate...
Oh, I had an answer, Dave.
Oh, I already had that one. Or sorry.
What is money laundering?
Go ahead.
Do it again.
What does money laundering mean?
When I leave my wallet in my jeans.
As if you wash them.
I do laundry.
$15,000 for a toothbrush? Reconcile. Why did we attack Iraq?
Because we didn't like the person we put in power there. And we wanted to add take their banking system away from them and enslave some more people and sacrifice kids.
Yes. And because he was going to sell oil based on the euro, which would have totally destroyed our petrodollar.
What an idiot.
Halliburton, who are they? What do they specialize in? What is the oil field service? Why is this relevant? What senior level political officials are affiliated with Halliburton?
Wasn't that Dick Cheney?
Yes.
And I think Rumsfeld even.
Yes. He put the dick in Cheney. No question. And what is the primary goal? What is the primary mode of influence that drives corruption? What does money buy? How is this connected to Saudi Arabia? How is this connected to Alaweed? How is this connected to Las Vegas? Go ahead.
Money, 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 power, 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 power.
And Alaweed owned the top floors of the Mandalay Bay, which is where supposedly the shots came from, which they did, but they didn't. Yes. Yes. All right. So, where did you go from here, my friend? To the next tweet, or did you dive deeper into this?
The only thing I did on this one was, let's see. It's hard to follow my own path. I gotta put my glasses on. I'm blind. Okay, we did 607, right? Oh, then I took, I went to the 117, where we're at, and then I blew the picture up, and I saw the numbers on the boats. I thought you had to look down.
Nice.
Gotta do that.
916. Wait a minute, Todd. I can't. Is that upside down? Is it 916 or is it 916? Which one?
It's 916.
And is it 981 or 186?
981. Because it also helps you out if you look at the front bow. It'll give you the answer there. So that's how I double check myself.
Take a bow.
Look at the whole boat.
So is it, what did I say, 916?
916 and 981.
Okay. Let's go to 981. I am terrified to go to bed, but I have to. I have to work tomorrow. What if I wake up and everyone has moved to a new board? How will I know? I've been on this train since CBTS. I can't lose communication now. You're safe. They are terrified. Sleep well, Patriot. You elected us to keep you safe. We will not fail. GA will change. Georgia? Notification
Possibly
will be made. Where we go one, we go all. What happened in Georgia today, Todd?
Well, Georgia's been a big piece of this whole puzzle, hasn't it, Dave?
Yes.
Going back all the way to the governor election, where that one lady, I forgot her name. What was it?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, removed from committees of the House.
Just today.
And she represents the good state of Georgia. And she is being demonized because of her support and references to 17.
And that could be a notification will be made. Where we go one, we go all. Where we go one, she is by herself right now.
Yeah, will be made.
She's by herself. They're notifying us. that you are safe. They are terrified. Sleep well, patriot. You elected us to keep you safe.
I love that, by the way.
Yes. So in other words, they know that they're still elected.
Yeah.
We elected them, and they know it, so they're staying there to protect us.
Exactly.
I thought that was a great one because it also referenced the guy, you know, that the Anon that spoke earlier. You know, he was talking about losing communications.
Yeah. I can't lose communication now.
What happens to us, Dave?
Right.
Huh. Yeah. What happens to the people who want to watch our show and get the information and they can't find us because we're censored?
Yep.
It sucks.
Yeah.
You know, this is America. It's not supposed to be like that. You know, even back in the day, communists could come on and talk, and they still do. And they're just, you know, they're censoring us.
And Q says, you are safe. They are terrified. Sleep well.
Yep.
And you elected us to keep you safe. We will not fail. 916, whatever happened to this Pakistani guy who worked with the DNC? The president asked in an interview published Thursday by the New York Times. A grand jury in August returned an indictment in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, charging Awan and his wife, Hina Alvi, with a Irish gal, with a total of 4 counts, which included federal bank fraud and conspiracy. Awan has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Whatever happened to them, Trump continued, with the 2 servers that they broke up into 1 million pieces? Whatever happened to him?
You think he wants to know what happened?
Yeah. What about Awan? Is Israel involved? We are saving Israel for last. Very specific reason, not mentioned a single time.
Yep.
What do you think that reason is?
I think that it's because they're the most difficult. I think the Mossad were the best trained and best operatives, and the evil Mossad was better than our black CIA.
Yep.
In fact, I think they had infiltrated the CIA through, you know, Ghislaine Maxwell's father, and you know, those were all double and triple agents we're talking about.
Right.
You know, they were double, triple agents. They were agents for everyone.
Yeah. Yep.
So it all goes back, you know, if you want to look at it big picture, it always goes back to a few characters, you know.
Yes.
It finds its way back to Epstein and Maxwell, and, you know, I just still can't wait. I don't understand. I'm kind of wondering, you know, when we're going to hear from Julian.
I know.
That always just is sticking in my craw. He's got to be a piece of this, because he's going to blow the lid off of a lot of this.
Yep. Hey, 186, which is the 981 mirrored. You are learning. You needed a push. Godspeed.
Yep.
And did you go off any of these?
I didn't chase these too far because they didn't hit my wheelhouse as being like right on today's.
I agree.
You know, right on all of today's stuff necessarily. Yep. So I kind of moved on.
So let's go to Scavino's next one. Oh, by the way, let me go to his next tweet, which is, or the one before that.
Yes. It's very interesting.
These are Harrier jets, obviously landing on a moving boat, moving ship.
could that possibly be one of those that we just saw?
Yeah.
Or similar to? It didn't
Certainly
have the
similar
round.
too.
Yeah, it didn't. The ships that we just looked at didn't have the round circle. This one that you see the Harrier landing on.
Yeah.
It doesn't have that round circle, but it could possibly be part of the ship, or maybe that's an aircraft carrier the way it looks. But either way, it still references the large ship in the military, so I put it together.
Where did that go? I lost his the one Scavino, the one we just did, is missing. How am I missing? How did I miss Scavino? Was it in the? Wasn't on the video, right? No.
Isn't the Twitter feed?
Hey, I'm on his Twitter feed. Yeah, but where's his? Where's the other? It was right above this.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
it was
right
the
above.
Picture of the two ships tied together, right?
Oh no, it was that was in the drop.
Oh shoot, that's right. Because we went to the drop from. Okay, I knew something was off. Okay, thank
you.
Yeah,
that was in the drop.
Yeah. Okay. So so looking at the Harriers, this was a 15-second long video at 6:03 a.m. Yeah.
Yep.
So going to 6:03. And 15. (6:03) today, former President Barack Hussein Obama formally retained counsel, 9 worldwide. God bless you all. This was January 24th, 2018. Okay. 15, October 31st, there are more good people than bad. The wizards and warlocks, inside term, will not allow another satanic evil POS control our country. Realize Soros, Clinton's, Obama, Putin, etc. are all controlled by 3 families. The 4th was removed post-Trump's victory. That would have been Saudi Arabia. 11-3, Podesta indicted. 11-6, Huma indicted. Manafort was placed into Trump's camp as well as others. The corruption that will come out is so serious that deals must be cut for people to walk away. Otherwise, 70% of elected politicians would be in jail. You're seeing it already begin. A deep cleaning is occurring, and the prevention and defense of pure evil is occurring on a daily basis. They never thought they were going to lose control of the presidency, not just Dems, and thought they had control since making past mistakes. JFK, Reagan. Got good speed, Patriots. P.S. Soros is targeted. Nice. Did you go off any of these? The 58, yeah? Over here next to the ID 00.
I had to go off of that. Yeah, that 000.
So right here, okay, 58. The Hill, Huma Abedin's ties to the Muslim Brotherhood. Clinton campaign is attempting to sweep that under the rug, and again, Saudi Arabia comes up. The Huma Abedin, also Huma, the Harvard University Muslim Association. Her mother sits on the Presidency Staff Council of the International Islamic Council for Dawah and Relief, a group that is chaired by leader of the Muslim Brotherhood, Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi. Perhaps recognizing how offensive such ties will be to voters concerned over future terrorist attacks on this country by radical Muslims professing allegiance to Sharia law, the Clinton campaign on Monday tried to downplay Ms. Abedin's involvement in the Journal and the Muslim Brotherhood. The Clinton surrogate group, Media Matters, funded and controlled by George Soros, claimed predictively there was no evidence that Ms. Abedin and her family had ties to the Muslim Brotherhood, and that Trump campaign staffers who spoke of these ties were conspiracy theorists. Now, Todd, I'm going to have to agree with this. Huma Abedin was tied to her mother who was obviously tied to the Muslim Brotherhood, but they cut off the umbilical cord when she was born, and she's no longer tied to her physically, literally, but figuratively. I got to think she's still in touch with her mama, and her mama is definitely in touch with these Muslim Brotherhood people. And so Media Matters, owned by Soros, is going to spin that so that this doesn't come out and make us all look like assholes for questioning it. To debunk the evidence, Media Matters pointed to a Snopes.com fact-check piece that cited as its sole source Senator John McCain. This is the same John McCain who met Libyan militia leader Belhaj, a known al-Qaeda associate, and saluted him as my hero during a 2011 visit to Benghazi. And you've seen the accuracy of Snopes. Yeah, we just showed that earlier tonight.
Funny how often that happens, Dave. You know, we mention it and then it's brought up because I don't remember mentioning Snopes in the last month, really.
No, not at all. Not at all. And I've certainly never searched on Snopes, I don't think, on the show. So here it's coming up. Senator McCain and others roundly criticized Representative Michelle Bachmann in 2012 when she and 4 members of the House Permanent Select Committee, Intelligence and House Judiciary Committee cited Ms. Abbott in letters sent to the Inspectors General of the DOD, DOS, Department of Justice, DOHS, and the Office of Director of National Intelligence, warning about Muslim Brotherhood infiltration of the United States government. Why is this relevant? Who took an undisclosed trip to Saudi Arabia? Barack Obama. What was the purpose of a F2FV phone call? Alice in Wonderland. Face-to-face voice phone call. Alice in Wonderland. All right.
Versus.
Yeah.
They could not talk over the phone.
A face-to-face. Yes, thank you. A face-to-face, not via phone call versus a phone call. That's why he went to Saudi Arabia. Thank you.
Had to, yep.
So interesting. Everything's pointing to Obama. Everything's pointing to Clinton. That's pretty obvious. What do you think Scavino is saying in these comms, basically?
Well, I thought the most important one we got out of the 3 was the one, why we elected them and that they're keeping us safe.
Yeah.
And not to worry.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been getting rid of these actors. Well, they're not the actors, but they've been replacing these people with actors the whole time. They've been taking them out. They didn't do it all at once.
Right.
It's been happening over the course of years.
Right.
And if you go with the same theory that I believe is true, that you've heard many times before probably, was that, the military had gotten to the point where they knew the infiltration. They saw it in the political arena, and they were going to do something about it if Trump didn't lend a hand.
Mm-hmm.
They thought he was the only one who could be outside of, be an outsider and actually run and actually be clean enough and rich enough and patriotic enough to want to, spend 4 years trying to save the country and take all the slings and arrows that he did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think they picked him. I think he balked because he has a great life, a great business, and a great wife, and a great family.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you want to risk that? But he was given assurances of their safety and the plan to make America great again and a chance to be one of the legends. And one thing Donald J. Trump has, and he's used it to his advantage, is intelligence and ego and patriotism.
Yeah.
That's why he puts Trump on every building he builds, because he's proud of his name.
Yeah.
He's proud of what he's done, and he should be.
When I had discussions, arguments with my friends on the left about Donald Trump and why I voted for Donald Trump the first time, they said, his ego is this and that. I said, listen, his ego is going to be the best thing that ever happened to us.
Yep.
You know, I said, because, you know, he, just what you said, he puts his name on his buildings, his hotels, his casinos, everything that he does. If he doesn't do what he said he's going to do, his name will be mud after these 4 years. And he won't.
Yeah, he doesn't hide behind a corporate name, you know, like
exactly. Like Apollo.
Yeah.
Like Merck.
Zeus.
Like Amazon, right? You know, these guys, he has his name out front and center, man.
Yeah.
Front and center.
And so he takes the credit for doing a great job, and he takes the
heat.
You know, he takes the heat alone. He's the man. He's the mogul. He is mogul. That's why they call him that.
Yeah. He's huge, man. Okay, so the thing about somebody, Lori said that Q-Tip said go to drop 3109. And 3109 is March 17th, 2019. Thanks for playing at Jack. Showing your hand was the intended target. The strike will be fast. Shall we play a game? Oh, I'm sorry. It's not strike. It's strike.
Strike. Missing T.
Missing T.
Oh, missing Trump. Missing T.
Yeah, nice. I was
Trump's
going to go with.
Missing.
I was going to go with Mr. T. I pity the fool, but I like yours better.
Yep. T's missing.
All right. The strike will be fast without Trump. Why, Todd? And you don't have to use your NPR voice. You don't have to use your NPR voice.
He has to distance himself from everything just for appearance's sake. I mean, that's what 17 has told us. He can't look like he's out chasing all these people down for political reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yep. Yep. Let's see. I'm just looking at some chat stuff. Also, I wanted to, before we leave Scavino, I just remembered that we had a snedhead who did some work on this, and on the Scavino, let me see, was it Christy? Let me see. Yeah, Christy Blackburn. Okay. Okay, yes, my email. Thank you, Christy. You emailed me, and let me pull that up. Thank you, Christy Nance Taylor, for dropping me the info on Christy Kilburn. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right, I'm looking at, hold on. Okay. All right, so there's no video. Must play this video, Christy, but there's no video. She says 1, Castle Rock Entertainment, 2, Michael Jackson Beat It music, 3, Biden at desk on first floor with POTUS Trump outside the window dancing, 4, 35-second long drop, number 35. Okay, now I don't know what video she's talking about. Do you?
Yeah, there was a video that was going around where Biden was sitting at the desk in the Oval Office and Trump was in the back dancing, doing his the Trump dance.
And was it to the music Beat It?
I don't remember hearing that, but it wouldn't shock me.
Okay. So,
I mean, anybody could have added. I could have seen one video, and the others could have been. They could have added any music to it.
So drop 35, by the way, is, let me read this to you. POTUS will be well insulated, protected on Air Force One and abroad, specific locations classified. Let me pull this up so you guys can see it better. Okay. And on Air Force One and abroad, specific locations classified. While these operations are conducted due to the nature of the entrenchment, it is time to take back our country and make America great again. Let us salute and pray for the brave men and women in uniform who will undertake this assignment to bring forth peace, unity, and return power to the people. It is our hope that this message reaches enough people to make a meaningful impact. We cannot yet telegraph this message through normal methods for reasons I'm sure everyone here can understand. Follow the questions from the previous threads and remain calm. The primary targets are within D.C. and remain at the top on both sides. The spillover in the streets will be quickly shut down. Look for more false flags. Stay alert, be vigilant, and above all, please pray. For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life. Love is patient. Love is kind. God bless my fellow Americans. 4/10/20. That is directly from Donald John Trump, 4/10/20. And he's well insulated, protected on Air Force One and abroad. He is not, Todd, I did want to say that I saw some comms today where he is not at Mar-a-Lago because there wasn't restricted airspace at Mar-a-Lago.
Yep. Yeah, Monkey's been all over that. Monkey Works.
Yeah.
He's pretty much been able to find out. They would restrict that. They would not allow anybody to just fly over his house.
Yeah.
Unless he was able to go 7 stories deep. I don't know, but why take the chance?
Exactly. Pat Evans says, "Who is under Joe's mask? His first name is Jack." Well, at Jack sounds like it's talking about Jack at Twitter because of the at symbol, but it could be somebody else. Anonymous citizen says, "Where's Maxwell's husband?" That's a good question. Can you find out for me and let us know? Search him. That's a good question.
Yeah, that's a tough family to track.
Yeah.
When we were trying to find out if the guy that ran Robin Hood was her son, I mean, there's hardly anything out there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I was hoping for maybe like a family portrait or something,
Yeah. Yeah, can you guys find out if there's any connection with Robin Hood CEO and Maxwell?
Yeah. Vlad something.
Vlad
the Impaler.
Yeah. My guess is it's Vlad the Inhaler, the way he's making decisions.
Dude,
you can't trade, dude. You can't trade your stuff, man. You can't.
That's going to be a big can of worms when they open that baby up too.
Oh, dude, it's getting big too.
Well, and they've been doing the same thing to suppress silver again. They jumped on that. That initial punch came in on Monday, wasn't it? Where it went up 11.11 went up 11.5%, the most in like 2 decades.
Yeah.
And then they kind of punched at it and it went back down. But I'll tell you what, there's people, I know people that have gone to our pawn shops around here.
Yeah.
And you can't find any silver. They don't have any. Some guy bought $5,800 worth of silver right before my buddy went in. So he went in and bought a couple coins that was all that was left. They're taking out the silver.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with the silver, and if you look on our website and you look at Dismay Coin Company, they got some cool stuff. And I tell you, Todd, I went over there yesterday because Dismay is in Simi Valley. It's about 50 minutes from here, and I got to show you a couple things here. And I bought some silver. So I got some basic rounds, okay, that are, and I'll show them to you here. Great guys over there, Byron and Armando and Bobby, and these guys were awesome and just great to connect. You know, they do business with Right Side Broadcasting,
Cool.
OAN, and this is the silver round that I got. That is President Trump being sworn in. He's got his hand in the air, right? And then you've got the White House on the other side, speaking of the White House that we've been doing, right? But just beautiful, just silver rounds. That's 1 ounce, 0.999 silver. And so I bought me some. I basically used the money that they had sent me because of people that were buying the Snedheads that were buying from Dismay, and so and they gave me a few things like Trump Pence, like all the Make America Great Again hat, the just all these different moments in the administration. These are copper coins that they gave me. And then there's an ornament with Santa Trump there, Santa Trump, and also, and these guys are great because they're just really fantastic, and they gave me this. Check this out. This is, can you guys see that? That's Mount Rushmore with Trump standing in front of it, almost like his head is a part of it, you know? Isn't that cool? With the American flag. So I'm going to hang that up here in the studio, guys. And there's a silver coin in that with the deplorables, the deplorables of their time. And it's all the presidents from the Mount Rushmore, Lincoln, Roosevelt, Washington, and Jefferson. And it was Mount Rushmore National Memorial, July 3rd, 2020. So, guys, please give a big thanks. And if you want to buy this, these are commemorative silver, but definitely silver. Short term, not necessarily a great investment, but long term, that was the recommendation that I got from Byron there. And so thank you guys for that, and thanks for supporting the broadcast. Thank you all who go to Dismay and buy those commemorative coins. They've got a lot of great stuff here, guys. A lot of great stuff. Trump train. And remember, it's going to be Trump who so I got some for you and Cindy too, buddy. But it's going to be Trump train, the guy who actually brings us into Nasara Jasara. That's going to be the guy who I think these coins are going to be very valuable one day.
Well, and I don't know about you, Dave, but buying from a certain person that has backed our president is just as important as getting your hands on, the silver itself.
Absolutely.
So even if it's a couple bucks more, I would support them. Right now I just don't have the means to go really, I would get my hands on as much as I could, but
I didn't until they sent the payment for January from the Snedheads buying silver. So thank you all. Not only are you supporting the show, but you're allowing me to buy stuff that supports us even further. And speaking of silver and buying from people that we love, Saint Solutions, she just sent you guys out a package yesterday. Jasmine.
Here?
Yep, to you guys.
Sweet. Thank you, Jasmine. We need it.
Yeah, awesome. With a little few gifts in there as well. And
I can't wait.
yeah, so the guys, check that out. Please check out Saint Solutions through the website, The Indoctrination. And also, guys, if you're having trouble finding me live, The Indoctrination has a live link too that you can go to. So if you're trying to find us live. So that's the, that's just the little, the only commercial you're going to see in our broadcast, folks. Multi-hour long broadcast. We might have one commercial, maybe two, if it's like 8 hours long. But think about the kind of commercials you get on your AM radio. Think about the kind of commercials you get on television, on all these other broadcasts. Some people are charging you monthly to listen to them. This is a free broadcast. I always want to keep it free. So your donations, your support of our sponsors is very much appreciated, so that we can, keep the lights on, keep moving forward, keep doing all this work. And Gina, the address is on the screen there. And if you send it to me, I'll forward it on to Todd and Cindy, because they don't have a P.O. box.
And La Vita Bella, thank you for their gift. They sent me, they sent Cindy and I some more hot sauce, and I was just running out.
Oh,
and
by
a
the
couple
way,
other little samples to try, and they were fantastic.
That's awesome. And by the way, La Vita Bella, I can't find my hot sauce.
Oh my God, they stole it.
It disappeared. I think somebody came to my house and stole it.
Or when your family took off, they
took it with them.
It. Yep.
They can't seem to tell me where it is, because I've literally had to ask them, listen, what did you guys do with the hot sauce? And they're like, I don't know. So La Vita Bella Olive Oil Company, guys. Jana Heck, she does fantastic work here.
And a patriot.
And a patriot. And single mother, beautiful special needs daughter, and Julie Harris, fantastic soaps. Good stuff here, guys. Please check it out.
And
the Healy
Jana actually is a go-getter. She's actually involved in getting her butt out in the public and doing things to make a difference. So she's well worth the support.
Yep, absolutely. Good stuff. And then the Purium, I'm going to jump back on another Purium shake thing and shed some more pounds. I just started that a couple days ago. Get rid of some more glyphosate out of my system. So please check that out too, guys. Awesome. So what in terms of let me see. I want to let me close some of these things. What other thoughts do you have, Bud? We can keep this kind of short because it's already 10:30 because we started late. There's a lot of
Yeah, I'm in a holding pattern as far as like researching my brains out. I think I'm suffering for the past year of doing that to myself.
Yeah.
And I feel so confident that what we're looking at is not real, and that there's a lot of players, I think even the mainstream media is playing their part by attacking QAnon.
Yeah.
That everybody's jumping on so hard that it just feels to me like this pimple's about ready to pop, and I think we have a lot of signs. I've never seen so many signs pointing to one event being, the Super Bowl being something to point to, and I look at it because we've been here before. I look at it with I look at it with optimism, but I look at it with also, things may change. I mean, I think that the reason that it didn't happen in a few other times is they knew that their could be consequences to doing it at that point.
Yeah.
Along with, I've heard about the dirty bomb that are, oh gosh, who was that in Russia today that talked about, gosh, that was a high government official too that said they had found a plan and stopped a dirty bomb release. And that may have been one of the things that hampered our, release of all the information and everything. So I think there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, including negotiations. I think these bad actors, they're giving them a chance to come clean and get the whole root like we talked about. Not leave any root in the ground so it comes back up again. So I think they're trying to take them out systematically, safely, so that no harm comes to the public.
Yes.
And there might be false starts here and there. So what? It's a little more time, but I look optimistically towards this weekend, and we'll get confirmation hopefully tomorrow night, because I do believe that the tweet will come.
Yeah.
Like that,
Let's talk about that a second. I want to show this video that that has been sent to me by several Snetheads. This one I'm pulling up is Resident Karma, talking about the EAMS tomorrow, the emergency broadcast. Let me pull this up and I'll play this. I'm going to go into it about a minute in here. Let's watch this together.
And I've got a big delay here, so
okay.
Remember
a lot of chatter, by the way, about stuff going down tomorrow night, and we obviously know already about the 17 drops speaking to a Friday, yeah. So cool. So let's pull this up here. Let's listen to this gentleman. Hold on.
Announcement of martial law and legitimate. Hi guys, Charlie Ward just dropped this. We waited a long time for this. It's done. Deep state collapses. The best is coming now. The official announcement of martial law and legitimate military government in effect since noon on January 20th, 2021 was made on Friday, January 29th, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's my exact birthday. The official announcement of Biden's arrest, along with 355 congressmen and 109 senators, 464 elected on January 24th and 25th, was made on Sunday, January 31st at 4:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and in Amsterdam, 11:35 p.m., Brussels and Paris.
By the way, there's only 100 senators. He said there's 109 arrested, so I'm wondering if former senators could be, and that's what they're talking about with these numbers.
These announcements were made on the dates and hours above to all American media. That's where I'm shaking. If this is true, I'll continue. These announcements were made on these dates to the media as expected by legitimate military government that runs America, as well as Trump and office. The official information was 100% censored by all official world media. The U.S. military government knew this and wanted it that way. I catch my breath. As with Biden and his party's coup d'etat, the legitimate U.S. government is allowing the U.S. media to commit widespread treason by having their censor the legitimate government's official statements about measures of national security and immediate danger of the American nation. The Illuminati media of the Fourth Reich have all fallen into a trap. Now the legitimate military government can take over provisional control all such terrorist media whenever it wants, as dictated by law and the U.S. Constitution. The U.S. military government will take control by force of all official media, radios, televisions, newspapers across the United States this Friday. Hold on, something happened as I was reading. It wasn't deleted. I didn't take. I'm going to have to tell you by memory because, of course, I got it. It's still here. I hope you didn't disappear. Okay. So what happened was something new got posted and it moved. I'll just snapshot it. Okay. The U.S. military government will take control by force of all official media February 5th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 11 p.m. General Mean Time, or midnight in Amsterdam, Brussels, and Paris. This includes the acquisition of all U.S. channels on the broadcast satellites, that broadcast live in Europe. This also means that all Europeans with a satellite reception antenna who receive U.S. channels can no longer be censored and will therefore find out the truth from Friday evening, February 5th, 2021. Among other things, the U.S. military will be obliged to broadcast on all these American mass media the revelation about Biden's coup d'etat, his arrest with the elected officials on Sunday, January 24th and Monday, January 25th. Finally, on February 12th, the U.S. military government will officially evidence submitted to all world governments and to the press internationally. Publish all evidence of the conspiracy committed by the French, Chinese, and other governments to create a false global epidemic to overthrow the U.S. government. This by running its economy and by destroying the entire world economy. It's an act of war that gives, among other things, the legitimate right of the U.S. government to overthrow the Macron government and any other terrorist government. Guys, I'm not worried about the censorship anymore. Soon it will be gone. Just be prepared that if and when it goes down, you will understand what it is about. He gets the heart sign love. Be aware, be safe, stay home, be loved. We have one love. Okay, now I know Charlie Ward really well, in that I have been following him for a while, and he's been pretty on. So I'll take back what I said and go with what he said, definitely, because the information I initially got was from Gary, and I trust Gary a hell of a lot more. And if Gary is posting it, he's pretty sure. So I'm pretty sure too. So take it seriously. Let's see if it happens. Love you all. Peace. Stay careful. Where we go one, we go all worldwide. Exciting. Take care.
So I'll let you catch up. That reminds me, by the way, that the Space Force that this the
Are you talking about Circleback Girl?
Yeah, Circleback Girl. That the Space Force has the full support of the Biden administration, and that they basically they welcome the Space Force to come and give them a briefing on their excellent work that they're doing. Meanwhile, they don't know what they're doing because they have no control in Space Force's military. Yeah. So that's very interesting. But he just reminded me of that. And so.
Yeah, I like the hat and the shirt, the
yeah, I like
space
that
force.
too. Yeah.
Cool. Why don't you do that, Dave?
Yeah, yeah. We got a little something in the works here. We got a little something in the works. You're going to be surprised, I think.
Cool.
And so what? So here's what we're hearing. Okay, it's basically coming out of I believe mainly Charlie Ward. I've heard Michael Jaco talk about it. I've heard Santa Surfing talk about it. And it's this kind of like it's going to happen this Friday, right? Now, how many times have we said maybe this Friday, maybe this Friday? Well, like Todd's saying, like if you look at how everything's ramping up, it's the pimple's got to pop at some point.
Yep.
Is it going to happen at 6 o'clock Eastern tomorrow? I honestly don't know, and neither do any of these people, because there's no reason why they would release this information if they needed to have it be a strategic time. And so I don't think we're meant to know. And it also, there's been a lot of predictions by these people that weren't like, hey, we think it might happen here. There's been a lot of predictions saying, yes, it's going to happen definitely. And it hasn't. And so that's when it gets, we have credibility issues, quite honestly. The truth community.
Well, the funny thing about this one is, Dave.
Yeah.
And, initially I was like, well, why would they tell anybody? Why would they tell anybody? Well, maybe they don't need the element of surprise anymore.
Well, that's exactly. If there's no need for strategy, surprise, because they've got everything taken care of, then yeah, why not let it out?
Yeah, let it leak out.
Yeah.
But I'm cautiously optimistic, and I will be paying attention. Believe me, at 6 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be kind of on pins and needles.
Yeah.
And if it happens, I'll be celebrating, and if not, you know what? It's going to happen.
It's the thing is, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And does it make sense to happen on the Friday before the Super Bowl? Does it make sense to happen during the Super Bowl? Does it make sense to happen after the Super Bowl? Right? Does it make sense to happen closer to March 4th? I don't know. It's we don't really know. But I tell you what is happening. There are people that are trying to say absolutely matter-of-factly, and they're putting it out there, and people are drinking it up because we are so anxious. We are so wanting it to happen tomorrow. And we know it's been said that it's going to happen on a Friday. But we're so anxious for that information that I also believe that there are a lot of people trying to capitalize on being right about it, us included. We want to be right about when this is all going to go down. So at any rate, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Just wait and see.
Yeah.
Could be a really good weekend.
Could be an amazing weekend. Now, Todd, what Barb and I were trying to figure out when you were having technical issues, which, by the way, worked out perfectly, didn't it? Let's see. Lynn says, thanks, Dave, for saying that. Saying what, Lynn? Thank you, though. Sonia Parker, how exciting my birthday is today, Friday. Happy birthday, Sonia. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sonia. Happy birthday to you. Sorry to ruin it for you. And so, but you know, it's what's going down. So it worked out great because Barbara was like on fire. But we were trying to remember, is Suicide Weekend before the darkness, right? And we haven't really seen the Suicide Weekend yet.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen suicides, but I don't know if it would be to the extent that we would think. You know, I was wondering about we were talking about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the tainted achrome.
Right.
And we were talking about having 20,000 people at the Super Bowl, and 7,000 were going to be first responders. But that leaves an open number of 13,000 elites, basically, who are going to be paying an extreme amount of money to get what normally is, a 65,000 seat stadium, to have it only 1/3 full for the biggest game. And, with Tom Brady being an expatriate, now he's a Buck.
Right.
I've mentioned to you all the things that I think point to Super Bowl something happening. I don't know what.
Right.
Maybe right after the Super Bowl or Super Bowl evening. There might be some clues during the Super Bowl. They might not, impede the game. They might let it play out and then have something happen that night. I don't know how it's going to go, but there's so many comms that point to this, with the Puppy Bowl being the 17th Puppy Bowl. This is being the 55th Super Bowl. It's incredible how many comms are going this way.
Yeah.
Knowing the players, shall we play a game?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, I went through, I think I wrote down a list.
SB.
I think I had 20 or 30 things that referred to this. If you didn't really even have to stretch the drops. They were just, references to this.
Right.
So that's pretty strong comms, and we've had really strong comms before, but like I said, we were either used as disinformation and a counterpunch at that time. As we've been talked about before, boxers don't walk out and say, "Hey, I'm going to punch you with my left hand on your chin."
Exactly.
They go out there and they fake, they bounce around, they play defense, they fake, and they're doing the same thing here. So I hope they've got everything wrapped up. I mean, look, if they say that, we just read a drop that said most concerning things are going to be in D.C. Well, we've got like probably 70,000 troops there now.
Right.
Are
Exactly.
I'm not real concerned about Schumer, making a break for it with all the troops we have there.
No, not at all. Couple things. Laura is asking, does Dismay ship to Australia? And what is the code for Dismay? If you just go in through the indoctrination.com, that will link to the website, and I believe it's let's see, $AFF maybe equals 17 is the link. But just let them know that that I sent you, and they'll make it work accordingly. So, and also the Chiefs too, Todd, right?
Oh
the
yeah,
Chiefs.
well, paint. Paint is who paints their face? The Chiefs. The Warriors. It's just, and watch the water. They're in Tampa Bay.
Apache.
The pirates on the ships. Pirates. They have a pirate ship at the stadium that actually shoots the cannons off when their home team scores. Mm-hmm. And for the first time ever, the Buccaneers get to host the Super Bowl in their home stadium. I mean, there's a lot of things that just, that symmetrically, it all fits. It just works for me.
Brady loves Trump.
Yeah.
And he's
yeah. Well, and I even was looking up a little. I was doing a little dive on Brady, and his brand is TB12. That's his brand, and he was willing. One of his best receivers is his last name is Godwin, and he had number 12 coming into the season, and Brady was talking about actually changing to a number, and here I was thinking, 17, that would be great.
Right.
It was 7.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
so he was talking about actually giving up his number because Godwin already had it, and just being a good guy and letting him keep his number, because normally when a star moves from a team to a team, it just is assumed
Exactly.
that he's the franchise, he gets his number, and you get whatever's left. Well, and there's even been instances of stars buying, paying $1 million to get their number.
Right.
From other people, because it's the number is it's been successful for them in the past, obviously.
So Todd, I thought I'd do a TB12 Gematria. And English Gematria, the first word that pops up is MAGA.
Well, look at the comparisons they have. Tom Brady, a very successful guy. They call him the GOAT, the greatest of all time, with all the Super Bowls and everything. And this would be his 7th Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
If he gets it, this will be the 7th.
Yeah,
then you have,
amazing.
Trump with the 777 and the 17, and it's just the
and 7. Cindy says 7 is God's number for completion. Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, it's just, I don't know. The way I see it, I really don't know if they're going to, tomorrow night, I can't see them, I can see them giving the tweet. And what the tweet says, is that you'll be knowing that we'll be taking back our country.
Yes.
But it doesn't say it's going to start that time.
Yeah.
So we're going to know maybe tomorrow night. And I was also looking at the weather to see if there was going to be a storm approaching Washington, D.C., which would chase Joe. When it says when POTUS departs on Friday, he will tweet this: "My fellow Americans, the storm is upon us." And I could see that if there was a winter storm there, and there's one moving across the country. Now, will it set up right over Washington, supposedly where Joe is? I could see it happening. So the storm, the winter storm is lining up with being on the East Coast at that time on Friday. There were blizzard warnings in Michigan and Wisconsin and Iowa, and actually we had some kind of crappy weather yesterday and today.
Right.
But I was just kind of seeing if the weather would line up to have a nice big storm, so he could say that, so that the normal people would just look at it and go, "Oh, yeah, there's a storm, okay." And then we'll look at it and go, "Oh my God, we know what he means." So if that tweet comes tomorrow night, I'm thinking it's coming from Joe Biden, who's the actor playing a part.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility, right? Because it's coming from. But I think, he's still POTUS, but he doesn't have ability to tweet. So it could come from Biden. I mean, Biden's been playing the role so far, right?
Yeah.
So the other thing, a couple things. One, that Trump was trying to get the NFL to play, right? And also the college football.
Yeah, Big Ten football.
This is an opportunity. Look at what the cabal does at the halftime shows. It's basically satanic rituals.
Yep.
And they do that because they want to display the artists that they own and control, and they have the most viewers. And even with this with Brady being a great quarterback and going for number 7, with what's his name at Kansas City, who's
Patrick
by the way
Mahomes.
Mahomes. Is it Mahone or Mahomes?
Mahomes.
Mahomes.
Mahomes, yeah.
Mahomes. And
really
by
did.
the way, their horse, somebody said that the horse of the Chiefs is called War Paint.
There you go.
All right. And so you have, you're going to have a lot of people tuning in. It's in Tampa Bay, they're home, right? That's never been done before. There was another.
Here's another reference that this is going deep. You remember Q always says trust Kansas.
Well, exactly. That's what I mentioned the other night, right?
Well,
Kansas.
Well, but this Kansas City team is in Missouri. But during last year, when
Yes.
President Trump congratulated the Chiefs on the Super Bowl victory, he said, Kansas must be proud of you.
Yes.
So everybody was making
everyone
fun
made
of him
him.
because
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because they're like, it's Missouri, dummy, But look at the symbiotic relationship here. It's you're supposed to trust Kansas. You got Kansas City, and it's just like wow. There's so much.
Canud with Kiewit says that Brady has already called out his wife's practice in evil and rituals. Interesting.
Well, isn't it interesting that Trump also and Brady are both married to supermodels?
Yes. And how about Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, being caught at the Super Bowl hiring hookers?
Yeah.
And kind of exposing that whole thing.
Yep. And the Kraft food, if you do a dive on the Kraft food empire, you'll find out, oh my God.
Right. The Kraft food, like, the flavoring, the aborted fetal tissue of, it's bad. So trust Kansas, all this. And so it's pointing to, Puppy Bowl 17, it's pointing to Super Bowl for no other reason, because of the sheer level of viewership, attentiveness, right?
Right.
And also, can you imagine that they stop the game and do this? Or they, because if they do it before, if they take over the EAM on Friday, chances are there's not going to be a Super Bowl on Sunday.
Right.
So that's all gone. That opportunity to maybe, get seen by let's face it, when they go to EAM, everyone in the world is going to be, dialed in. They're going to be trying to figure out what's going on and the whole bit. But when you can do it to a worldwide audience, doesn't it make sense?
Well, even if it's not the big event, it's a marker. It's a huge marker, and something is going to be known. And I was also going to look into tomorrow. I was going to look into why Budweiser and was it Coke that pulled out of advertising?
Yeah, I think it was Coke, Pepsi, Budweiser.
I was going to do a little dive on that because I wanted to see the reasons behind it, and also I noted that Robinhood announced earlier that they were going to do a $5.5 million ad campaign. So
Really?
That's just, during the Super Bowl.
Wow.
And here you got a company that's that's doing what it did to its people, on its platform.
Yeah.
And like I said, they were a puppet. They were put in place by the big dogs.
Yeah.
And there's
Budweiser, Coke, and Pepsi, Bud.
Those are some pretty big advertisers.
Yeah. Yeah. Huge. Huge.
Because remember when they changed it to the Bud Light Bowl?
Yeah.
Where they had the cans dressed up with the helmets?
Exactly. Also, Audi is not going to be doing it.
Mm-hmm. So why did they pull their ads?
Yeah. That's a good question. What I had said the other night is they know what's going down.
Yeah. They wouldn't want their brands associated with it. if they know something's up.
Rhea Bright, the Super Bowl is not worldwide. No one in the UK gives a toss about it and do not stay up all night watching. Well, Rhea, let me address that. It is the most watched athletic event in the world, period. So to not say worldwide isn't very accurate. And maybe you're pissed because we call it football. I don't know, but it is the most watched event in the world, and doesn't make it the best event in the world. I don't watch it most of the time. I definitely don't watch the Super Bowl halftime show. And by the way, Rhea, I just started watching Ted Lasso, who's a football coach, played by what's his name? Jason Sudeikis. And he coached football in the U.S., and a woman hired him to coach a football team in the U.K. Because her husband cheated on her, and she wants to destroy the team. She got the team in the divorce settlement. So far, I've just seen a couple episodes, and I really enjoy it. But at any rate, so Rhea, that's I know that soccer is a worldwide sport. Like, it's a bigger sport than football.
I would say, in Europe, I was there when World Cup was played, and that was huge, but that's not in, and I would say probably it would be very close in viewership. The championship of the World Cup, I would say, would be pretty close because I happened to be, I was in Italy at the time, and that was a fantastic event. I mean, I watch, if there's nothing else on, sometimes I'll put a soccer game on and I'll watch it, and I enjoy athletes in action. It's cool. I respect what they do. And it was a really cool thing to be a part of. But I think for a single one-day event that happens annually, I would say, the Olympics are a 2-week event, so you can't really.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I was at the World Cup in Paris, which was pretty amazing, and just seeing how big it was. BBC is covering the Super Bowl, and in England.
And with today, you can find it on the internet any place. If I can watch Australian rules football when it's on. I can watch the championship game. I mean, it's not, so if you want to find it, it's just, I understand people. There are a lot of people in the United States that don't give a shit about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. That's true. I'm one of them. Ruth asked to do Gematria on Trust Kansas, and English Gematria comes up: the Lord on earth, Lord's alignment, the Lord God's here, God is really here, God birth date encoded, the code of the Lord, make America great again, God confirmation, a December ID confirmation, Lord birthday code, God is dragon encoded, Lord December dragon, align Lord God's data, the Lord God December, the Lord God is Sag, I am a December ID birthday code, Barack Hussein Obama, eyes wide shut, God's alive, loser, you choose hell, access into heaven, invisible enemy, make America great again, Jeffrey Epstein, Alice in Wonderland, 23, the moon goddess, God is here, be careful, Jesus is coming, the door is open, Jeffrey Epstein, a true prophet, thank McKinn, paradox of cannabis, December Christ code of God, Quentin Coleman.
Damn it.
Quentin's busy on the searches. Not to make fun, Quentin. I love it that you're up here, but also know that you searched.
Wish him the best. I hope he's feeling better.
Yeah. End child trafficking, the Lord of Aliens, all-seeing eye ray, the seventh seal, God seals foreheads, the Archangel Raphael, 5G frequency, April showers, Tyson Fury, 42, full armor of God, No more waiting, and the winner is Sol Invictus. Wow.
That's pretty good.
Ruth, that was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Last Day on Earth. Mark Edward Baldwin, 49ers, question mark, Salute to America, box of chocolates. Who's that remind you of?
Uh-huh.
All right. Are You With Me? Saturn Loses, Cannabis Maximus, Digital Soldiers, The Lord's Host. This is amazing. April 20, Coach and McWillie, Happiness Begins, Jehovah in My Dream, Fallen Angel Lucifer, Egotistical Goat. You were just said Brady's the goat.
Brady's the goat.
He's egotistical. USNS Comfort, the child boat, you know. Ancient Egyptian, 107. 107. All We Need Is Love, River Phoenix, Righteous King, Coleman Living a Lie, Sherlock Holmes, Nimrod the Magician, 23, Full Moon in Leo, Mirror World, Soviet Union. Wow. Ashton Kutcher, Lilith and Lucifer, Battle of Armageddon. Wow, this was unbelievable.
Yeah, that was a hit after a hit.
That
nice
was a
call.
Nice one. Nice, Ruth. Thank you for that. Angel Wings just had a deja vu moment. Deja vu. Yeah.
Yeah, that's supposed to be another self catching up with you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right.
You're supposed to have a dozen timelines going at the same time, and when your timelines unite, that's when you have a deja vu. So, according to Gene Decode, pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. I want to bring up this aborted human fetal cells are used in a lot of food additives for flavoring. This is, I'm not sure of this site. This says Genuine Christianity Now. But I'm just bringing it up. You guys can dig deeper. Somebody asked about, Kraft. Aborted babies in Pepsi, Kraft, and Nestle. Shocking report. Okay. This is actually from News Punch. Mass-produced foods from food producers, Kraft, Pepsi, and Nestle, all contain the tissues from aborted babies. California-based company, I've done a lot of research on this, Cenemix, uses aborted embryonic cells to test flavorings and then adds them to your favorite processed foods and drinks, which are often labeled as artificial flavors. This is from naturalnews.com, who says, what they don't tell the public is that they're using HEK 293, human embryonic kidney cells taken from an electively aborted baby to produce those receptors. Debbie Vinage of the pro-life group Children of God for Life said about the ugly truth of the flavoring chemical industry. They could have easily chosen animal, insect, or other morally obtained human cells expressing the G protein for taste receptors. Vaccines, beauty products loaded with chemicals made from unborn babies murdered via legalized genocide. Processed food isn't the only hidden source of additives. Beauty products, vaccines, Pepsi beverages, Nestle products, Kraft, beauty projects, Vax, and I think Coke is in that as well. And maybe Budweiser. I don't know.
Didn't Kraft buy Heinz? And Heinz, nobody even knows what the ingredients are that's in ketchup.
Yeah.
That was one of the things that there was an hour-long documentary I saw, I think it's within the last year, where they tried to search down, what was in everything in ketchup, and it was kind of an actual. It was a nightmarish experience if you like ketchup.
Let me see what. Yeah.
And that's their sick way of making us participate in what they do.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is, yeah. Yep. So, yeah, it's, yeah, and they've found, thank you, Christy. They've also found, that the, I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah, McDonald's hamburgers.
Oh, the burgers, that there's human meat, and they found human tissue in fast food. Bogeyman
Well, look at
says
Ronald
that
McDonald Ronald McDonald, the clown with the red mouth.
Dude, we covered that. People were sick over that.
Yep.
People were sick over that, with the red around the mouth and the blood, arms,
red shoes.
Yep, the red shoes. Yeah, unbelievable.
Yep.
And Christy wants me to go to show. Let me see. Let's see. The Jeffrey Epstein reportedly placed his entire fortune in a trust called the 1953 Trust. This is Breitbart. Not family, signed 48 hours before his death. Interesting. The will of convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. Now, see, this is Breitbart. The will of convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. If this was CNN or any mainstream media outlet, the will of disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
Embroiled.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's just ridiculous, right? So, court document. So, signed a mere 2 days before his sudden death inside his New York City prison cell, according to report. Court documents obtained, which, by the way, guys, for those of you who don't know, I believe he's still alive. Todd, what's your take on that? I forget. We haven't talked about him in a while.
There's absolutely no way he's dead.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought so. I was going to hang up on you if you didn't say that. So I'm glad you did.
There is absolutely no way that Jeffrey Epstein did not have a kill switch.
Yes, court documents obtained by the New York Post show Epstein's will was filed in St. Thomas of the U.S. Virgin Islands and signed on August 8th. The will reportedly shows the disgraced financier. There you go. They had to get it in. Well,
embroiled.
I've not read this article before. The disgraced
I'm waiting
financier.
for embroiled.
Yeah, that's next. Had a net worth of $577,672,000, roughly $18 million more than he claimed during his failed attempt to obtain bail while awaiting a federal sex trafficker case. Epstein reportedly placed his entire fortune in a trust called the 1953 Trust, aka I'm still alive, I'm going to need access to my money, and they've allowed me to have some of it. There are no details on the trust beneficiaries. The court papers note that Epstein's only potential heir was his brother Mark. But the will adds that Mark only had a claim to his brother's extensive holdings if Jeffrey hadn't left behind the document. Court filings show Epstein had $56 million in cash, $112 million in equities, and $194 invested in hedge funds and private equity funds. He reported a fixed income of $14 million. Of real estate papers show Epstein valued his Manhattan mansion at $55.9 million, his New Mexico ranch at $17.2 million, and a Palm Beach, Florida estate at $12.3 million. The 66-year-old also owned a house in Paris worth $8 million, as well as two private islands, Great St. James Island in the Virgin Islands worth 22.4, and Little St. James at 63.8. The additional 18 in Epstein's will accounts for his aviation assets, automobiles, and boats. The Post further notes Epstein's fine arts, antiques, collectibles, valuables has yet to be appraised. Yeah. Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Barbara Sampson said in a statement that she made the suicide determination after careful review of all investigative information, including complete autopsy findings. Now, think about this for a second. I said this when this happened. A chief medical examiner is not a detective. A chief medical examiner can only go on the information that they have been trained to really dig through. So a chief medical examiner is only going to look at the body, and his bone was crushed from like a strangulation, not from a hanging. Okay, because hanging from where he hung from wouldn't have broken that bone. So she dropped the ball there, Dr. Barbara, okay? And then looking at information outside of your purview isn't your business, isn't what you do. So it needed to be the combination of all those things by somebody who's really looking at this objectively, which you people are not, because you were told to do this and you were paid to lie. Because he isn't dead. He isn't dead. He isn't dead.
His clone is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Alrighty. So good stuff. Thank you for that, Christy. Nance Taylor. Isn't 1953 the year he was born? Well, he's 66. He died when he was 66. Yeah. Is that right? 110? Yeah. 120, 2020. That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 53 Trust supports his life after turning state's evidence. Yes, I think he's still talking. Yeah. Yep. Oh, wow. And then here's something. Hold on. We got a couple other things we got to take a look at. Jamie Raskin, House impeachment managers, request former President Trump testify under oath next week. All right. 2 days ago, you filed an answer in which you denied many factual allegations set forth in the article of impeachment. You have thus attempted to put critical facts at issue, notwithstanding the clear and overwhelming evidence of your constitutional offense. It's not clear. It's not overwhelming, you jackass. In light of your disputing these factual allegations, I write to invite you to provide testimony under oath either before or during the Senate impeachment trial concerning your conduct on January 6th. We would propose that you provide your testimony, of course, including cross-examination, as early as Monday and not later than Thursday, February 11th. We would be pleased to arrange such testimony at a mutually convenient time and place. Why is it mutually convenient time and place? Because he doesn't have to, asshole. If you decline this invitation, which I think he will, we reserve any and all rights, including the right to establish at trial that your refusal to testify supports a strong adverse inference to your actions and inaction. Yeah, you know what, jackass, you're an idiot.
Oh, is that the guilty till proven innocent world they live in?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Right. So that's very interesting.
That's another thing. You know, I don't know that kangaroo court's going to be able to go through.
No, it's not. And lawyer's letter refers to games in that letter. I missed that part. Also on Breitbart, Nolte investigators say blunt force trauma did not kill Officer Sicknick at Capitol riot. Okay. it didn't happen. In fact, according to far-left CNN LOL, the medical examiner found no evidence of any blunt force trauma of any kind during Sicknick's autopsy. Buried on paragraph 8 under a nothing to see here CNN LOL headline that reads, investigators struggle to build murder case in death of U.S. Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick. The bombshell is finally dropped. According to one law enforcement official, medical examiners did not find signs that the officer sustained any blunt force trauma, so investigators believe that early reports that he was fatally struck by a fire extinguisher are not true. In fact, there is apparently so little evidence Sicknick was physically injured in any serious or notable way during the incident, the following is being considered. One possibility being considered by investigators is that he became ill after interacting with a chemical irritant like pepper spray or bear spray that was deployed in the crowd. Hello? Obviously, that doesn't mean the riot didn't contribute in some way to his death and that the rioters are not responsible in some way, but there's a big difference between bludgeoning someone to death and not, and that difference is intent. My point here is to not downplay the awfulness of this man's death or the riot itself. My point is that all the corporate media do is lie. If you think back on it, it really was the reports of Sicknick being beaten to death that shaped people's perception of what happened. From a mob of lawless and stupid rowdies to something much darker and more malevolent. The idea of a police officer being beaten to death with a fire extinguisher, my God, that's your takeaway image from an event that was awful already. But only now, after almost a month of fake news and propaganda, do we discover that it didn't happen. Are you surprised? Because I'm not. My default position when it comes to media reports for years has been, yeah, that's a lie. And I'm always correct, especially when the story in question perfectly fits whatever left-wing narrative the fake media are promoting. Okay? Yeah. This, after all, the same corporate media and DC establishment that lies about everything, that tells us President Trump colluded with the Russians, called Nazis very fine people, told people to inject bleach, that tells us there was no vote fraud in 2020, men can magically transform into women and women can magically transform into men, that protected and is still protecting the perverts at Project Lincoln, that a year of left-wing riots and deaths and billions of dollars in property damage were mostly peaceful protests, that Governor Andrew Cuomo, Democratic New York, is doing a stellar job handling the coronavirus and global warming is real. It's all lies. Everything the media tells us eventually ends up being exposed as a lie, as a gaslighting campaign. John Nolte on Twitter, at Nolte, I'm already following him, NC, at Nolte NC. If you guys want to follow me, at Dave Snedeker, at Dave Snedeker. Yeah, that rally, yeah, they went in. We were still at the Ellipse when that all started. We were walking, right? We were walking. We hadn't even gotten there yet. And that was all going down. So couldn't have been, Trump's incitement.
Well, yeah, because, that's the first thing that a detective actually does, is they take the events in how they supposedly happened to find out if the perpetrator actually had time to commit the crime and fit the timeline together. And that timeline just exonerates Trump from the beginning. Even if you're looking at it like a lunatic, and you think, oh, he said that. Well, he said that at this before or after it was even happening. It had already started. If you're worried about, going down and peacefully protesting at the Capitol and showing your, support, if you take any of the inflammatory parts of what you think and you drag it out to even the most extreme, they were already started before it was said.
Yes.
It's so stupid.
So, Todd, here's something I want to share that's 17 seconds long, real quick.
Make no mistake, there will be a trial, and when that trial ends, senators will have to decide if they believe Donald John Trump incited the insurrection against the United States. Insurrection. Trump incited the insurrection against the United States.
Okay. Now, let's go to here. Let's see what this one is. Hold on.
I hate that delay. That was hilarious.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah.
Second time. Joining us now to talk about today's historic House vote is Congressman Adam Schiff, who, of course, led the first impeachment of Donald Trump. Thank you for joining us, Congressman Schiff. Does today feel any different from a year ago?
Well, it does. I think the seriousness of this bloody insurrection could not be more impressed upon us. We were standing on the same floor where exactly 1 week earlier an angry mob was trying to break down the doors. And I shudder to think of what would have happened had they succeeded. As it was, 5 or 6 people lost their lives as a result. We moved with all.
Wait a minute, Todd. When you're talking about a specific event, are you going to say 5 or 6 people lost their lives?
As it was, 5 or 6 people lost their lives as a result.
Well, the other thing, Dave, do you go right back to work at a crime scene?
Yeah, good point. Yep. That night.
So they just cleaned up all the blood from the bloody insurrection and just said, we got to do this.
Yep. Absolutely. Let me go to, let me see if I can find this. Because he says it. Darn it. Schiff says it. I wonder if he said it there.
Hi, everybody.
Let me see. But Schiff said the same thing. He said incite
Make no mistake.
Let me see here. Let me see if I can get to, maybe it's in this one.
Fathers understood that there could be impeachable acts in the first week in office or the last week in office. And we feel strongly that every day this president remains in office, he poses a danger to the country.
10 Republican members of Congress joined Democrats in voting for impeachment.
Well, of course, I would have liked it to be a lot more. I was realistic because over 140 of those Republican members, after there was this mob attack on the Capitol, were right back on the floor, still propagating the big lie about the election, still trying to interfere with a peaceful transfer of power. So they weren't going to support impeachment because they recognize their own culpability, or they should. But nonetheless, 10 is better than having no Republicans upholding their oath. And I would hope in the Senate, the senators will do their duty.
The president released
way too little and way too little and way too late. Because for the last 4 years, he's been stoking this kind of civil unrest to march on the Capitol.
When you talk about it,
mob to march on the except inciting this mob to march on the Capitol.
When you talk about inciting the mob, there has been an accusation lodged by at least one of the members of Congress that she has seen, or did on the 5th of January, the day before, other members of Congress leading groups of people around the Capitol in what she calls a reconnaissance. Are you aware of this, and have you thought about the possible people if they are found to have done this?
This is like a local guy. I think he's LA maybe. But this is, do you see how this is all, it's all programmed?
Found to have done this, or worse.
Well, I've seen the comments of my colleague, and of course, many of us have concern about the complicity of some of our fellow members of Congress, some who spoke at that rally and helped to incite the violence, others who led that effort on the House floor, including Kevin McCarthy, the Republican leader, voting essentially, frankly, of my visits to Iraq when I would be in the green zone and you would have troop formations and barricades and barbed wire, very much like this to protect government buildings in Baghdad. I never thought I would see the day where that would be necessary in our own country. But then I never thought I'd see the day where a president would incite violence against the Capitol. But that's sadly what's happened.
All right, Congressman Adam Schiff.
Darn it, he said incite insurrection, and he caught himself, and I can't find that. Do you guys know where that is? Does anybody have that? Where Schiff says incite insurrection. It's unbelievable. And we can't find it there. Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a real stomach turner. I hope we don't have to go through a stupid trial with him talking, because I'm going to be forced to watch him bloviate some more.
Yeah. Oh, he's unbelievable. Yeah, Wendy, he said it, right? Yeah. Yeah, and he also a lot of people were, saw after, we talked about it last night after Pelosi did the gavel. Not last night, I'm sorry, but Tuesday night after Pelosi did the gavel, that there were arrests, that the police cars showed up right away at the, and I'm going to just show the beginning of this real quick.
Later in the PM on February 2nd, Nancy Pelosi has just hit the gavel. Everybody is calling it a night, and the sign pops up like it always does at the end of the stream, telling us when we will be back for the next live coverage. So pretty much as soon as this screen came up, about a minute or two later, as you're going to see, I'm going to play it in real time, where the emergency vehicles, whatever they are, arrive and swarm the front of the building. Here they are coming down the street now. If you've been watching mainstream news and you're wondering why this isn't on it, it turns out that key people throughout our government, throughout the media, throughout Hollywood, have all taken the same bribe from the same one or two Chinese CCP businessmen. It's a real simple bribe. You couldn't say no to it. They go around and they offer, let's say, to one executive at each news agency got a meeting with a Chinese businessman, and he said, I'll give you $2.5 billion if you introduce me to that guy down the hall. Super simple. I'll give you $2.5 billion if you tell me the best place in America to fish. Sounds real simple. They also make it sound very, very patriotic by saying you're going to take that $2.5 billion, not million, and invest it in your country any way you want with no interest and no payback date. Now, the second, third, fourth, fifth, and so on favors get pretty sticky. And that's why this United States is in such a mess today. People on both sides of the coin are guilty. If you're not much of a news watcher, I would like you to take any time, day, place, watch the news, and then watch the other newscasts and notice that each story is the same word for word. There is one scriptwriter for all the networks. And that is why people are not watching what used to be the news, which is now just straight up boring propaganda where nothing bad ever happens and everything is rosy every day. But your gut tells you it's not, right? And that's why you're here. I was just like you. I was a Democrat, had will set you free. So start learning. Backtrack up that seem to be right in front, the closest to the right. There seems to be a big panel truck of some kind right behind it. Participant in viewing and making sure that nothing goes wrong. So
that's Red Step Stacker, by the way. And I like what he did there. And that's, but I also think that if they were really coming to take them, they would have already been there or waiting for them, not coming right at the moment. But it does make sense if there's a big panel truck, were the arrest made then? That's always a question mark, like maybe it went down. Excuse me. Then, right? And here's our. Let me see. Here it is. From Christy Nance Taylor.
I don't
Thank you,
stand for
Christy.
anything. I don't care about anything except my own personal ambition. And if I have to embrace someone who just incited an insurrection against the cap.
There you go.
I don't care about anything except my own personal ambition. And if I have to embrace someone who just incited an insurrection against, I have to embrace someone who just incited an erection. To embrace someone who just incited an erection. And if I have to embrace someone who just incited an erection.
Just so you know, Schiff has definitely embraced somebody that just incited an erection. Definitely. He's definitely gay, and he also has ties to Ed Buck, who's murdered two black men in West Hollywood. He's murdered somebody at the Standard or the Chateau Marmont. He's a pervert, this guy, okay? And he's going to go down. And the reason that 17 said, listen to who yells the loudest is because he, we knew that it was going to come to this. We knew that it was going to come to this. That it was going to be, them trying to save their ass by putting up a positive fight. Yeah, I can't read that one, Christy. Folks, I think that wraps it up for us. Good
Sounds
stuff.
good to me, brother.
Yeah, love you, man.
Love you, man. Hey, Schneidheads, hang in there. We're getting close. I know I say it every show, but we're closer today.
Absolutely.
So, love you guys. Love you, Dave.
Love you, pal.
Talk to you later.
All right, see you. Good night, Cindy.
She's sleeping.
Guys, let's end with a quick prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us together this evening. Thank you for all the information that has been given to us and that we've sought out. Thank you for this time in human history when truth will prevail over lies, where good people will prevail over bad, and where goodness, godliness will prevail over evil and satanic cabal. We ask you to watch over, Lord, Donald John Trump and his family and his team and the Q team and all the Anons, the autists, the keyboard warriors, the Snedheads, everybody that's having a difficult time right now. Please give them extra special support and love and compassion that only you and Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit can embody in us all. So thank you for all that you've done. Bless all those out there seeking truth. Let the hearts be turned of the evil into repentance, and help us all to forgive not just others but ourselves. Thy will be done. Amen. Folks, you were the ones that put up with a lot of stuff tonight trying to launch this broadcast. I love you. I respect you. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting this Truthcast. Thank you for all the great information you're sending in. Guys, this wouldn't be the same without you. It'd be me talking into my phone in my bathroom. So I'm glad you're here. All right. Love you all. Good night. Be well. See you tomorrow night. And unless, maybe, I don't know, but be well. You got our numbers if we ever have phone access that we can call in and connect. But even if we don't have phone access, please, 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Connect with yourself, connect with your Creator, and let's connect with each other, and just know that we're all like thinking, praying, meditating at that moment in time to get through any days of darkness that we may encounter.